go.
Got it.
Almost. Let's see. It's always a delay on some platforms. Mm. There we go. Almost on. Okay, so just say something so I can check the sound real quick.
Something.
Oh, there you go. Perfect. Following instructions. Let's
I
see.
always do what I'm told, especially when the fair sex is freaking ordering me around, for sure.
It sounds good. It sounds good. Okay,
All right.
everybody. We are back. Facts with Maaxx. Today is episode 26. And I'm just as shocked every time I do this thing because it feels like I've been doing this for a decade and I've only done 26 episodes within, and I do like 2 or 3 a week sometimes. So I haven't even done this very long, but I'm very happy with how it's going. And I have so many cool guests. And a few years ago, I started manifesting people into my life. That's one of the things I did. So every night I would say, "Hey, universe, please bring me the people I am meant to meet." And I don't really like to go out and try to find the people. And I believe that this man right here was brought to me for a reason. And we met in a very interesting circumstances. And now we've just been talking. And then I found out that he's very much about spirituality like me. And we were talking the other day, and I was like, "You have to come to my live stream." So please introduce yourself.
Hey, everybody. I'm the artist formerly known as blakeArt, which is I am man. Speaking of manifesting, I'm manifesting an archetype. This is a look and feel, which I would describe. I think Edward Bernays, the father of public relations,
Mm.
he's the guy that invented bacon and eggs for breakfast. He's the guy that told doctors, "Hey, wear a white coat, and that gives you authority." So I'm kind of coming from
Mm-hmm.
the place in consciousness or in the universe that looks like this because it's like the architect or like from the Matrix or like Steve Martin did with the white suit in the 70s. It's sense of humor, fun, caring, loving, goofy, but with a purpose, and there's a design behind it. And that's kind of like my contention with the philosophy that but
Uh,
maybe we'll touch on.
I've
Go
actually been
ahead.
thinking about getting myself a uniform of some sort. I'm just trying to figure out what that would be for me, but I like
I'll tell you this,
Mhm.
Max. You know who else does that? Dave Chappelle.
Yeah.
Chappelle wears his gear. He puts his name tag on it. He's got his
Mhm.
logo with the patch on the sleeve. This is the kind of this is kind of a new way to think about how we brand ourselves and how we can work best within the realm of how consciousness behaves and how we can signal to other people that, hey, there's tongue in cheek. Let's have fun with this and not take life so seriously because that's the problem. We're
Actually,
all, go ahead.
my friend Joel, he does comedy. That's one thing he does. He does music, a lot of things. But I was telling him because my whole life I've been known as kind of a goofball, right? I'm the one who just mess around with people and make people laugh. And I was telling him when I said the last few years, I'm a very happy person. But when I go online, I always talk about such serious things that I was like, I feel like I'm getting less fun. I'm sitting on here
Right.
talking about child trafficking and saving lives like it's not something you really joke about. So it's like I feel like
Right.
I've lost a little bit of my humor because you can't just put humor on anything. I don't think you can.
Right.
But I was like, I need to bring a little bit more of that back. So I was doing a couple of videos the other day, just being myself. Immediately, people said, "This is my favorite content of you ever. You and your silly sounds and just goofing around." So I said, I need to get better at like having both of them. I
Right.
want to do the serious stuff, but it has to be like a sprinkle of the humor.
Well, again, to quote Dave Chappelle,
Mhm.
everything's funny until it happens to you. And, you bringing up, child trafficking and missing children and all this other type of stuff.
Mhm.
This is the world we're living in right now. This
Yep.
is what's being uncovered. This is we're all going to go through this great unveiling and a great awakening at the same time.
Mhm.
There's two different things, right? So the great unveiling is that's the curtains kind of being lifted on what's really going on and really this place is and the machinery kind of behind it that's a little uncertain, it's not very becoming to a civilization, right? But then the great awakening is that more and more of us are, kind of getting in tune with the higher vibration and treating each other better and all this other type of stuff. So we kind of have to come to terms with our, the nastiness of humanity and whatever else is influencing, the powers that be to act in this way.
Yeah.
So, and that's a big pill to kind
Yeah.
of start chomping on.
I also believe, though, if I wasn't in the state of mind that I am, where I actually am, I'm a very happy person. I laugh a lot. And if I wasn't that, I don't think I could be dealing with the heavy stuff I do either, because it would probably get to me. And it really bothers me. It's really dark stuff. But that's also how I get into the whole spiritual journey, that it's very important. You can do that, but you need it to not stick to you, because if you let it get to you, then you can't do any good for these people anyway. So
Right.
we have to, yeah. I mean, we need to
I
feel
think is
happy.
the term you're describing, is that brevity? I don't know if that's the right word to describe what you're talking about.
I don't even know what brevity means. I am Swedish.
It's like having it's like the attitude you were just describing about how you're thinking about, assessing where you're at in time with
Oh,
how your mind works, or trying to rationalize having the correct attitude when you're being pelted all the time with media and fear and circumstances of everybody with money and with COVID and
mm-hmm.
with opinions and politics. It's just like right now, it's just, I mean, everybody's hamster wheel is spinning incredibly fast.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And it's just scramble, scramble, scramble. And, I think you and I come from the aspect of, hey, let's take a step back. Let's take a deep breath. Let's assess. Let's, center ourselves and be, uh, the world is a beautiful, magical place. It is not something that we should be running around in fear about.
Nope. Absolutely. That's funny you said the hamster, because I was just doing that reference with the hamster the other day, because that is really what's going on. And I was telling somebody, it's everyone, not everybody, most people I know, I talk to somebody every day where they are either really stressed or really
Mhm.
sick, or, it's just so much going on. And I was telling Joel the other, I was like, wow, everyone is going through it. Like, and I mean,
Yeah.
a little bit, but a lot of it. Then maybe, I don't know if maybe I'm a person that people feel like they can open up to also. I don't necessarily know if they would tell everybody, but
That's me.
good thing.
I'm
Yeah.
the same.
Uh-huh. But it's so much. And every single person is somehow stressing about money, which is, I think that's why that's is right now, besides the kids, my absolute main thing I'm working on, to the sovereign living. Because everybody is stressed about money. We're not meant to be stressed about money.
Right.
It's the biggest stress in the world right now. And then, oh, this morning, which doesn't really have anything to do with this, but I saw this video this morning about Trump, how he now has changed the law with divorce, right? So if a man and a woman is divorced, the man is really wealthy and they get divorced, now the woman will no longer get half of what he has, right? And I am fully,
Did he sign that? Was that an executive order?
I don't know. I just saw it briefly this morning. I haven't looked into it, but I guess there's something to it. Whether it's gone through or not, I don't know. I agree with Trump. I've always been the kind of woman where I feel like I don't want to need a man. I want a man. It's a difference,
Right.
right? I don't want
Yeah.
to be dependent, because I don't know if you truly need someone. Is that actual genuine love, you know?
Right.
And every now and then we watch this Fresh and Fit podcast with these guys who are talking about, women these days, and how all the women are doing OnlyFans and they're so independent and they want to do everything themselves. And everybody says they don't need a man, blah, 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 blah. And they're
Right.
saying, oh, oh, ah.
Amber
Okay.
Alert.
So we have had let me cover that afterwards, actually.
That might be consciousness telling you that that was a very important point that you were making.
Yes.
That's
Well,
how I look at it.
there's a fog here today. Let's just say that we walked out and you can't breathe almost. So if everybody has gone out and seen these weird spots on your car,
Oh yeah.
it's not good. if people don't detox and take care of their bodies, now would be the time to start, because you're not going to be okay.
I just did a parasite cleanse like within
Good.
the past
I need
month.
to put
Oh
you
yeah.
on technology soon, because, yeah, so we don't get sick at all. But either back to the Trump thing. So if this is the case now, so these guys on this podcast are talking about, women need to actually be the way they're supposed to, and they need to, be classy, and they're going to get these men they want. And technically, they want the old school way, right? When a man, is a woman is a woman.
Right.
And yes, I agree with that. But then also now, so they're saying women should be women, which kind of means like, okay, the man should take care of you, and you should do the things you're supposed to do, support your man, take care of kids, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so if they're pushing through this now, what's this going to stir up? So now we're going back again. Okay, so all the women out there that are like, we have to be independent. Yeah, well, now you're going to have to, if they're pushing that through, so that, everything is going against each other. And it doesn't
Yeah.
really matter which side you agree on. It's just a shit show.
By design, to see where the powers that be can have the most control is with everybody's at each other's throats, because you're fighting this way or punching down instead of looking up and seeing that it's, the powers that be. And no fault of them, they're ruled by fear too. Everybody who is in a position of power or money, they don't want to appear weak. They know that they can be violently put to bed and erased from what I consider this simulation. I'm my philosophy is a hashtag on Twitter. It's simulation assumptionism. And but that, just real briefly to explain that, it's like, is this a simulation or not? Well, we don't know, but let's assume that it is. Kind of like, did the Big Bang happen or not? Well, we don't know, but let's assume that it did. So it's the same concept. And I think again, this comes to exactly what you were talking about with the stuff on the car and the spots on the car and the health, and to cleanse and take care of yourself. But if this is a simulation, then that's something that should be easily done, and something that we all can help each other with.
You have
exactly
to mind and not let things. And I mean, I've had to work on this too, and I'm very grateful for the people I have in my life who has been. I had very few people. I've had a lot of people in my life. And I always wondered why people didn't want to tell me things to my face. I said, am I scary? Because I always had this little handful of people who would hold me accountable on my bullshit, like put me on the spot, tell me that, get your shit together, Maaxx. That's what I want. And that's how I am. If you are my friend, and if I ever tell you something that might be a little, oof, that's because I care about you.
exactly
If I didn't care, I wouldn't even bother. And I've only had very few people in my life who would actually tell me things to my face. And I said, sometimes, like, why can't the other ones say something? I know sometimes that they feel a certain way, but they just won't say anything. Why?
Right.
Because I was like, that's how we all should be. Sometimes, yeah, the truth is a little painful, but a lie is even more painful. So
I agree. And hang on, it was just 222. And every time there's like an 1111 or 222 or stuff, I send it to my significant other.
Do you know what my number?
And that's
I have this 555. I see 555 every day and not just time, prices, clocks. The other day I pulled one of my crystal cards, 55, just realized that our apartment numbers on our side of the row together creates 555. It's just in the most random way. The other day I walk out in the street, realized that the neighbor's address is 555. Never seen it. And it's everywhere, and I've seen it for months and months now. And even one day, I don't like psychedelics and stuff like that. But one day so we have a friend that grow weed in his garden.
Me neither. Just kidding.
I have a friend who grows weed in his garden. So I was like, I've only tried weed when I was younger, and it was probably full of chemicals, and it was not my thing. So I was like, I'm gonna try. Okay, I will try. Take like one little hit, and I was like, okay, this, I'm so lightweight, it doesn't even work. I'm laying on my friend's floor, and I was like, wow, I am very high. I don't think this is my thing either. Still, look at his clock, and this is at night, and his clock turned 5:55 in front of my eyes, and I was like, but there's no way because the clock isn't 5:55.
Yeah, it wasn't that time, but it turned like that
Yeah.
for you.
Yes, exactly. So it's everywhere, everywhere.
So, but yeah, it's the same. And, that's my contention with this whole, what the describing what you were just talking about there. And for me, I feel it a little bit more, and I'm very much more in tune with it on, you know, uh, cannabis or psychedelics or whatever. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm just a dabbler. I'm
Mm.
not, these are, and to me, they're very sacred.
Mm-hmm.
Psilocybin mushrooms, lysogenic acid or whatever,
DMT.
X to a lesser degree.
That's
But that all has become very dangerous because they're putting all the
yeah.
freaking crazy chemicals and fentanyl and all that stuff in it. So, but then cannabis is,
You need to be careful because there's chemicals and everything. As our friend grows it himself in his garden. We know
right.
no pesticides. They do, sun and the moon and all this stuff. That's what it needs to be. And I did DMT January 1st this year. We had a friend who actually went and got the bark and made me the DMT with love. Again, you need good energy in the stuff you use to.
For sure.
And I tried it and it was incredible. And I was like, I've done it. I got what I needed. I felt the love. Everything is great. Then I bought a book the other day. It's basically science behind DMT, and they're telling you what exactly it's supposed to do for you. And I was like, shit, now I got to do it again because I didn't know that. So they're
How
saying,
long did it last for you in
oh,
physical time, and then how long was your trip in your mind?
it only lasts for a few minutes. That's typically how it is.
But how did it feel for you while you were going through it? That's what I'm asking.
Absolutely no understanding of time. I can't even begin to describe.
Mm-mm.
It definitely felt like more, but maybe also not, if that makes sense. I don't really know. It was a great experience, and I think I did it at the right time in my life when I had done so much work that I went in and I only had a pleasant experience. It was like this 1 second for me when I was like, is it pleasant? Yeah, it is. It was just like that. And when I came out of it, I just loved everything. I loved everyone. I hugged everybody, couldn't even talk, just went out and went barefoot around on the ground and looked for the dogs.
Were you with a group of people at some sort of festival?
No, absolutely not. So my spiritual mentor told me to do it out in the nature, but it just turned out to be on. We went to our friend that lives out in the country. They have their own self-sustainable house, everything. So we went there for New Year's, and the day after, him and his friend was gonna try. So my friend King Bao, he's facilitates DMT trips. I call him my shaman.
Right. Yeah,
So
that's the
did it
very
just
the best descriptor.
4 people in the room, people I love in a great place that we like to be,
Set
peaceful.
and setting.
Yes. But if I did it again, I would like to do it outside with my feet in the water. That's what I hear is supposed to be.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah.
Would I do it at a festival?
Water has memory.
I wouldn't even go to a festival without a psychedelic. Man, I wouldn't set my foot there. A friend of mine texted me the other day, show something with a concert, and said, "Oh my God, I wish you were here." And I just looked at the crowd and I was like, "Ooh, all that energy." That was all I could think. I used
Yeah.
to be a concert photographer when I was young. I don't attend big group events unless it's for the full technology. That's it. No, I don't go to concerts. I don't go to events. I went to a biohacking expo last year very briefly, but I can feel a lot these days. I feel energy a
Yeah.
lot.
Sure.
So I used to go to LA to visit my friends a lot. Driving to LA is a painful experience now.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's a nice place to visit.
Uh,
That's all I got to
it
say.
was I had pain in my chest as soon as I drove in there.
Where'd you drive in from? Vegas?
I don't remember. It was just last time I went there. I was like, I just looked at Joel. I was like, ooh. I don't think I want to go back here. Yeah, you can feel people's
Oh
dark.
yeah, for sure, for sure. And that's the again, the great awakening, great unveiling. I think that there's a large group of us who
Mhm.
are becoming more and more in tune with being able to kind of feel that
Yeah.
up front.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I've only visited LA a couple of times, but and I mean, boy, it is a great place to visit. I mean, you can't beat the weather and the sunshine, but
There are other,
the traffic and the people,
yeah,
there's a lot of people there that are just like, oh
a
God,
lot of those people that we fight that do bad things to children are there.
yeah.
Mhm.
Well, that's a yeah, yeah. We get we can talk about that because I know a little bit about it as
Oh,
well.
please.
But,
No
huh?
restrictions, no limitations on my live stream.
Well, for sure. There's just people on Twitter who discuss that. There's a guy, I don't know if you follow him. His name's Ryan Matta, Matta. He's a good
Mhm.
source to follow,
Oh yeah.
and and then this other guy who's really blown up. He was just on Joe
Oh,
Rogan.
mm-hmm.
A guy named Ian Carroll,
Oh yeah.
Carroll, and I've been following Ian
Oh,
for
mhm.
about 9 months, and he's
Oh
a
yeah.
sharp
Science.
kid,
Mm-hmm.
and the thing about him is he doesn't. So I'm coming at this just with my own opinion and my own philosophy. Ian documents things with facts, and he gets people who like Whitney Webb, who talks about a lot of this stuff and has written a
Mm-hmm.
couple books. She's written. She is an expert on Jeffrey Epstein, and
Wow. Oh, did
you
you actually let me show that. So I my friend King Bao is doing a little challenge soon. So I have now on my Pure Blood website, we have the new shirt which says it's going to be associated with a challenge coming out soon. So it's called Pure Blood Wears the Tapes. So
yeah,
stay tuned, follow King Bao. He will be releasing the challenge. So a few years back, he ran the Jimmy Kimmel challenge that went viral, and then he's one of the best fighters in the world. Gets shot out of the UFC after basically winning his fight and exposing Jimmy Kimmel and
right.
telling him that he was a pedophile, and everyone was like, "Oh my god, we have to take this down." And then it turned out that he was. Yeah, I mean he was facing prison for pedophilia, so it wasn't like he was just making something up. I mean it was public.
Well, and that's the thing. I mean, if it's false, there should be lawsuits and libel and you know and there really isn't. It's because again, this is the great unveiling.
Mm.
It's to become anybody in the world that has any type of influence or power. There's a price tag to that. So and uh, uh, that's the hard thing I think for normies or regular people to kind of understand. And this is a great segue. You One of the things that you and I have in common, Maaxx, is that we're conspiracy theorists, and
Ish,
I like to tell people that
real.
I have the longest rope and the brightest headlamp to dive down any rabbit hole.
Yep.
So, let me ask you a question. Why don't you describe how you got into it, number one, and then like what your favorite conspiracy theory is at the present moment?
Yeah, I was gonna ask you the same thing, so we'll do
Well,
both.
I'll say the same thing for
Yeah.
sure. I'll freaking
Um.
answer as soon as you, ladies first, as they say,
Yeah.
since I'm such a gentleman, right?
I think that, and this is something I've been questioning myself a lot, and but I feel like I've always been thinking like this my whole life. Even when I was very young, I always questioned everything, and I thought everything seemed not really accurate, if that makes sense. Then when
Right,
getting older, but when I was young, I kind of just kept my things to myself, just thought I was a little crazy, had a lot of thoughts. I used to get downloads a lot. Like when I was a kid, I don't necessarily remember all my downloads, but one download that I do remember that I got on a few years ago was I'm standing in my bathroom brushing my teeth or something, and suddenly I saw the entire evolution of humanity and how we became androgynous. And I'm like, uh, what? Well, like what? Why? What? Hello? Like, why am I getting this right now? And it was, I
Right.
get like thousands of years of information into my head like that. And then at that
Yeah,
moment,
like Neo learning how to do kung fu in the Matrix,
yeah,
in the
like
simulation, you
at
know?
the moment I get that download, it just I just remember, oh my god, I used to get these downloads when I was a kid, and I haven't been getting them for years. I'd almost forgotten about them. So I was like, grab my phone, I start recording it. It's like, what do I do with this information? Who do I tell? This is kind of before I mean, this is years back, so it was kind of a little bit before things were going on what they are now. And I showed it to one friend, and he's like, "What?" I was like, "No, this is not it's not my opinion. I'm just sharing with the download I got. Like, don't yell at me for this."
Right.
And then fast forward is pretty much what's going on right now. So, I've always been like that, and I've always thought it to myself. Then COVID hit, and before COVID, I wasn't even on social media. I didn't care about it. I did marketing and
Right.
content for other people. That's what I'm good at. I don't want to be on camera. I don't give a shit. No, like, I just want to be private. COVID hit, and I was like, no, I need to say something. This is not okay anymore. I can't just walk
That's
around.
exactly why I'm
Yeah.
doing what I'm doing now, because COVID changed my life big time.
Yeah.
So
Because
everybody's,
I
it
knew about
changed everybody's life.
I knew about COVID. My friend is from China. I knew about COVID when it first started in China, like way back before it came here. So she told me about it. She's like, Maaxx, my family's in trouble. They're not well. Do you know somebody that can ship masks to China? Because they don't have any. I'm like, I don't know. So I started asking around with my Indian friends, and does somebody have masks or something? So that's how I learned about it. So then eventually, when it started coming over here, I already knew, and I had told my family and everything. I'm like, there's some weird stuff going on. You guys should probably be a little cautious. My dad was in Thailand at the time, and he was like, we're fine. And then he hit over there while they were over there. So I said, just be careful on the plane and shit. Like, maybe not fucking rub yourself against people, I don't know. So either way, they got back home. They're in Sweden. Fast forward, I just start talking about the vaccine, because back when the lockdown was, I was like, they're telling you to like not be close to people. I don't really like being close to people anyway, you know? And then I was like, they're telling you to wash your hands. Yeah, I kind of do that anyway. If you touch weird shit on the street, wash your hands. That's like common sense, you know? Like, you don't have to
Right.
tell me to do that. So it's just like common sense stuff. And I was like, I don't believe I can get sick, so I'm not really concerned. And I lived in Miami. We had a lockdown for a couple of months, and then we were out in the streets not giving a shit, So I
Did
was,
you get COVID?
hell no. I can't get sick. I told you. I can't get sick.
Right.
And people are like, what do you mean you can't get sick? I've told myself for 15 years I can't get sick. I've mentally told my body it can't happen. I can't get a cold. I can't get a flu. I can't get COVID. And they're like, oh, you probably this blood type that is asymptomatic. I'm A plus. It's the worst one of all. If you read the studies they did. No, that's
Right.
bullshit.
Blood type. Right.
Yeah. And I mean, I haven't even had a cold in like 15 years. But what I need to do homework and is telling myself I can't get injured, because that I have been many times. So me now it's kind of going back to square one. So every day when I do my vibration plate, I'm like, I can't get hurt.
Oh, do you have one of those vibration plates you stand on?
Yes.
That's
Doing
yeah.
and I've torn both of my knees. So now I'm like, and I jump rope every day now. So my knees get sore. So I get up, I stand on the vibration plate, do some myofascia, and say, I can't get hurt. I can't get hurt. I can't get hurt. Go out and kick ass in my training. No problems whatsoever. So I believe that you can mentally change anything. If
Yeah.
people want to believe this or not, you don't have to. But honestly, it's actually the easiest and most free way you can do things. Because it doesn't cost money to change your mind. It's free.
No.
So yeah, that's kind of so COVID. I started talking, and the more you talk, the more you research you do, and then the more you know, and then you can't stop talking, right? Because now you know too much.
Right. Oh my God. That's been
Yeah.
yeah.
And I've also
The
have a lot of friends who have. I always told people my news source is not the internet. I have friends I know that work in places where they see things with their own eyes and those actual real proof. That's not all the time. Of course, I see certain things online. Don't get me wrong. Like the Trump video today, I saw it online. Yeah, I don't know Mr. Trump, but like a lot of information, like the blood clots. I had a friend who had a friend at the morgue, so we saw those blood clots in like 2021, like I've seen them. I know what they look like. So then when people, 3 years later, blood clots. Yeah, I know. I saw them years ago. I saw them.
I don't see how it works. I don't see how people can be. I mean, I know there's people walking around with that stuff in their arteries and veins, and
Well, so
it's
we've known this for a year, and finally now ChatGPT is saying it. So Acemannan, our food technology, removes spiked proteins out of the body. We've known it for a year. We were not allowed to say it, but now we can because ChatGPT is saying it too now. So now we can say it. Now, I'm not going to say you take our food technology and it's like you never got a vaccine. No, I don't believe that. But we have, actually, since we're talking about it, let me show you this video that we have a guy. His dad is 81 years old and got 4 shots. And it's probably the most incredible story I've ever done. I'm going to play this one real quick.
Multiple COVID vaccines in the UK after his 4th one.
Let me just... Can I just...
COVID vaccines in the UK after his 4th one. He just never really recovered. The immune system was always shot. It just completely destroyed him. He just didn't recover from the symptoms, and they were blaming it on long COVID. Luckily, thanks to yourself and Josh, who introduced me to the aloe vera products, so on paper sounded a little bit too good to be true. He started taking it, and within the last 12 months, the changes have been phenomenal. Last year, we had to be so careful who came around him just because he would pick up every illness and it would take a month to get over. But probably within 2 months of Dad being on the immune and the limitless, my mum actually got sick, and we were all, oh, he's definitely going to get sick. He didn't get sick, and he was surprised because he was expecting to get it. And it was just like, okay, wow, there's really something in this. He had underlying respiratory issues as well, so his chest is weak. So he's been going to the doctor and has to give samples of his mucus and everything. The last scan that he just had, best one to date, they're really impressed. And then he's gone from barely being motivated to get dressed and so weak and fatigued to up, having his twinkle back, feeling good, and actually believing in the product as well.
So you had results, you're in your 30s. Your dad had results, he's in his 80s. It's never too late.
So the first time that we went to the gym together was this Christmas. I mean, that in itself was the best Christmas present ever.
So this man is 1 year old. So if somebody out there think it's too late to actually take back your health, and again, he had 4 shots. 4 shots. Like, if this doesn't say something, I don't know what does.
Well, there's that. So, for your listeners out there and the viewers who are going to watch this, one of the guys that I listen to for my news all the time in regards to all that, and he is also he's vaccine injured, but he's the comedian Jimmy Dore. I don't know if you've ever heard of Jimmy Dore. He's based out of LA, and him and his wife, who's an amazing person and stand-up comedian, former teacher herself. Her Twitter handle is Miserable Liberal. She's the Miserable Liberal, which is hilarious. But Jimmy Dore is a truth teller, and he talks all about this stuff, and about, one of the things he had on his show within the past month was, they did this study about, seniors getting vaccinated against, this has nothing to do with COVID, just against the flu, and how it's better for them. So there should have been a measurable result showing that they were benefiting from this. They're not benefiting, and it's detrimental to their health.
There's a doctor.
So I hate to say this about our friends in the pharmaceutical industries, but they need to go back to the drawing board and
this year. So it's changing this year. We have some big news coming out in a couple of weeks. I'm not going to share it until I am allowed to, but let's just say that things are going to change publicly.
Yeah, and we look. It's all about the way the society is structured, and this is my core constituency of my reality-redesign.com website. It's it's named that for a reason. We've what have we done as a society? Well, we've monetized, our health, our wealth, or war, famine, scarcity. Everything's kind of a lie. We've all been bamboozled to think that electricity comes from our, a socket in our wall. This is the kind of stuff and the rabbit hole spelunking that I've done as someone who is an artist first and has had a career in an industry, the advertising industry, that, talk about an industry that's had to change because the things that used to make us money don't make us money anymore. Because now, there used to be 3 media channels that we'd watch: ABC, NBC, CBS, and then PBS, But now Maaxx West has her own channel. I've got my own channel. We are all our own channels now. And there's a reason why we call it, like you said, I got to download brushing my teeth, right? You were channeling information.
Energy.
Yeah. And, energy, magnetism, and vibration. This is something that modern science completely ignores. But it's about how this place that we're all existing in together is structured. And our ancients used to build the buildings and do their temples and construct things in this way. That they used to put all that stuff into how they, designed and built the places they lived and interact with each other. And I'm not talking 5,000 years ago. I'm talking 15, 20, 25,000 years ago. So you've been with me, Maaxx, on Zooms because this isn't a Zoom, because this is the technology. So but my background, this is an actual painting, and it's huge. It's one of my pieces I've done. It's called People.
We're going to jump into a website soon. Yeah, I was going to
say.
So
yeah, but when you and I have had Zooms and talked, what's behind me? It's a big map, right? So, but that map, and maybe I'll bring it up on the screen. I'll be able to. While you're doing something else, I got to find it on my freaking hard drive and either send it to you or bring it up.
Yeah, that's me. Do you want me to jump into your website? Well, we never actually finished answering the questions, but you said you also got into it during COVID.
No. I've been a conspiracy theorist since I was around 15 or 16 years old, and a couple. There's one that everybody's been into, and then there's another one. We've got all day, and you're a captive audience, so I'll just kind of explain it to you. Yeah. So I used to work at a company, and we'll table the map talk till next time, or for a little while down the road. So I used to work for this construction company where we'd go into office buildings that were being constructed, and we'd assemble office cubicles. So there's a job that doesn't really exist much anymore. But it was a really fun job, and there was a nice group of guys who, kidded me and taught me all about, working hard all day. And I was a 16-year-old kid. So this one guy on a Sunday, we had to go and do a rush job, and we had to be there at this giant building we were assembling all these cubicles for. But he brought in a couple boxes of used books because that's his hobby. He had his own used bookstore. So we're all kind of at our lunch break, we're all flipping through these books. And I pulled out a book that said, "They've killed the president." And it was about the Kennedy assassination. And I held the book up and showed it to him. I go, "They killed the president." And I said, "Lee Harvey Oswald killed the president." And he goes, "You just got yourself a free book." Oh, I cut in and out.
Lagging a little. No, you're back.
Okay, good. So basically, I got this free book of this, this was something that opened my eyes as a young kid. I was 16, 17 years old. And I got the whole, I was buying hook, line, and sinker, whatever, my teachers in my school told me. But I always had questions. And that actually goes back to the globe, but we can talk about later. But I read every book I could get my hands on about the Kennedy assassination. And best evidence. Huh?
What's your theory on it all? What did you come up with?
Oh man, it's that's the reason why they don't want to release the information. I'll give everybody a direction they can go. I'm not going to articulate it out loud. Just like you said, when I get permission to release the information. But if everybody wants to look on YouTube for the video, everything is a rich man's trick. It's a 3.5 hour long video, but it is mind bending and it will change the way you really look at things.
So everything
there it is right there. From JFK to 9/11, everything is a rich man's trick.
We're putting the links in the caption as usual. So whatever we're talking about, all the links will be in the caption. So you guys don't need to memorize. They will all be there.
Beautiful. Oh my God. Maaxx West, you're a genius.
Oh, keep talking. I'm pulling up something else I'm going to ask you about while you were talking here.
So, well, and that's just, that really is, history, Napoleon quote, history is a bunch of lies agreed upon by the victors. I mean, and the truth is stranger than fiction, 150,000 million billion quadrillion %. This place, what we're doing here, why we're here, how it works, all that stuff. The truth of it has really been obscured and hidden from us because, they kind of treat us like we're a big poultry farm, that's kind of how they look upon it. So here's the other conspiracy. So everybody knows JFK. Everybody talks about that one. Here's the other one. So, and this again happened when I was a kid. So it's like, I'm 12 years old. I go to a Catholic school and Pope Paul VI passes on to the next thing. Pope dies, big deal, Catholic school. So we're, while they're getting ready to pick a new Pope, and who the hell knows what's going to happen with Pope Francis right now, because he's been really sick. And I wish him the best of health, and I hope he gets better, but we might be going through this again sooner than later. Mm-hmm. But Pope Paul VI passes. There's a whole month, pomp and circumstance, funeral, all this stuff. And then they go into the conclave. There's a movie that just was out about the conclave this past 6 months. They pick this new Pope. And it's a young guy that no one had even heard of. He had just become a cardinal. Pope John Paul the First. So it's like, yay, celebration, new Pope, young guy. He's great. Everything's awesome. Everybody loves him. And it was like, the conclave worked as it was designed because nobody had even heard of the guy. But then when they all went in to go pick the new Pope, everybody fell in love with this man. And that's how the divine inspiration, the design of how you pick a Pope is supposed to work. Because there were guys in there jockeying to become Pope, but this guy beat them all out because everybody fell in love with him because he was a good, decent, loving, caring, altruistic, benevolent person. So the first 25, 30 days he's Pope, he starts freaking, the unveiling comes to him and he sees how the sausage is really made in the Catholic Church. He sees how the banking interests and the, I don't want to give anybody terrible news, but what was her name? The gal from India who always wore she had the orphanages. So that Saint Mother Teresa of Calcutta or whatever. Is that who it is? Right. All these people, not good. They really weren't good people. The people who were in charge of the Vatican Bank and all these other cardinals who they missed their chance to become Pope because this new guy got to be Pope. Right? He got picked by the way it's supposed to happen. Well, 33 days into his new popism in the late 70s. Pope Paul I dies of a heart attack, right? But he was basically poisoned by another cardinal in his morning tea, is basically what it is. And the name of the book that talks about all this stuff and documents all these facts is called In God's Name, and it's written by a guy named David Yallop. And that's another, Yallop is spelled Yallop. And there's pictures and there were murders and there was all this stuff that happened. Yeah. So the investigation into the death. And so then we got Pope Paul II right? And everybody kind of just smoothed it over. And he was a good man too, but again, he was a part of the apparatus. He played ball with how the Catholic Church really operates, and that's why he wasn't going to color outside the lines, because what John Paul the First was going to do is he was going to, hey, we got enough money to feed the poor and to get rid of disease, and to we can liquidate the Vatican art collection and pay for everybody's, he was going to change the church and really follow what Jesus was going to talk about and stuff. But, that's kind of what happened with that. So that's a conspiracy theory that, it's kind of fallen off the modern radar. That happened, 50 years ago. And nobody talks about it. But, that book is, I read that thing in like a day and a half. It's a modern spy novel. And I'll tell you the inspiration for Angels and Demons and all that stuff.
Remember I read all of that stuff.
Yeah. So that's the fictionalized, again, fiction is strange, but the truth is stranger than fiction. And
I encourage people to go back and watch some stuff. Like, for example, one of my favorite movies when I was young was The Never-Ending Story. And
I love that movie.
Yeah.
Love that movie.
But rewatch that old stuff with the knowledge you have now, and you'll see a lot of things.
I love your third eye. Your third eye salute. Well, and this is the contention of consciousness itself. And you've just touched on an amazing concept that I'm going to try to articulate out loud, and then I want your response. And this is all over my website, Maaxx. Okay.
We're also going to pull up your website. Hold on.
For sure. Humanity needs to tell a better story, because the story we're telling ourselves right now freaking sucks. It sucks. And it's just, it's great for the, 0.0001% that are living off their interest and flying around doing whatever the idle rich do. But I think we need to redesign reality to where it's more of a holy, ritualistic, positive, an initiation type of a thing. Go back to more where it's like I think the ancient Egyptians did all that because they were always, their whole life they prepared for death. I don't think it needs to be like that for modern civilization, but I think it should be more gamified 100% to where by the time you're 35, you're in on the joke and you know what's up, and you've got all the time in the world to take care of each other, help each other, work together to make this place a more enjoyable, fairer, cleaner, nicer experience for the vast majority of not only human beings, but the animals on this planet, because they're suffering because we're such polluting idiots for profit.
Dogs are sick and having cancer and all this stuff. But actually, back to the Egyptians, so you say they're planning their whole life for death. But when you really think, maybe they just knew something further than us, because is death really a bad thing?
Exactly. So you were preparing for death so that there was a scene from a movie with Jack Nicholson and Morgan Freeman. I can't remember the name of it, but they climb to the top of the pyramid and they're up there. And I got a gnat flying around in here. I don't know what the deal is. It's bugging. It's driving me nuts. Sorry. Oh, I got him. Consciousness, I'm sorry to have, exterminated your existence. Come back as a person. So, there you go. Wish the consciousness success.
Dog.
Yeah, exactly. Well, or God, that's the best. Well, not if you have to eat processed food every day. Yuck.
No. God, we feed Tiger here fancy stuff. Same I feed myself. I just found
there you go.
Food brands. I've been watching videos, so they take all the nutrients the dog need and air dry it to make the nutrients. And oh my God, he is in heaven eating food every day now.
Oh well, yeah. I got a pooch here. It's my roommate's dog, and he's just a lovely creature.
Give the food technology, so they recover their immune system.
Yeah, exactly. So Morgan Freeman, Jack Nicholson, top of the pyramid, and Morgan Freeman asked Jack Nicholson, "Hey, what the ancient Egyptians said, when they die, they get asked two questions. How
Uh-huh.
much joy did you uh, uh, have in life? How joyous were you? And how much joy did you bring to other people? That's the main focus. And that's the whole myth of, I can't remember the name of the god, but it's a giant hippopotamus in ancient Egyptian. And they put your soul on a scale with a feather. And
I
if your heart is heavier than
mhm.
it's got to be lighter than the feather, then you got to go back and try it again. So
Yeah.
that's
That
again the whole lightheartedness about being here and giving joy to other people and
right.
helping other people in any way possible to make this the best, funnest experience.
I mean, they might be right though. So if you're not doing good, you get reincarnated and then you got to do it all over again. And if you
It-
don't, then you get to
True.
wherever we're supposed to go.
Well, and I think that's why we're all alive right now. I think this, what we're all going through is some sort of massive initiation. I think that's what the Twin Towers were.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Twin Towers were built in the early '70s to
Mm-hmm.
be destroyed. I think it was all advanced jujitsu on the part of some sort of, you know, uh, whatever plan we're going through. This is we are in some sort of a machine to where this is happening. This is happening to us on purpose. So what does it mean? How can we recognize, what can we take from it now, and how can we recognize and pull as much meaning and comfort, knowing that we are, this is all, we're all being guided through this with bubble wrap for the most part by a conscious living creator who loves each and every one of us, no matter how despicable or how evil we are.
Mm-hmm.
That's the tough thing, I think, for people to grasp.
You know what just crossed my mind? Because I've done a lot of energy work and I've done energy work where I saw my last past lives and I was like, I'm still here. I must have not done very well.
What were you in the past life?
Well, so I had two scenarios where I had my children died. One of the times I also died, and then I have also been related to King Arthur, but I haven't figured out yet if I was his wife or his daughter.
Oh, wow.
But
See, that's all.
mm,
So with the structure of consciousness being like the Fibonacci sequence or golden ratio, you always heard people in insane asylums, with their hand in their vest. I've got a vest on actually, and I can actually do it.
oh,
And they think they're Napoleon.
mm,
Well, the way souls after a life, maybe a portion of you splits off and becomes another person in branches. So,
oh,
we all, the vast majority of us on planet Earth could be coming, especially in this incarnation or this particular realm, we all could be pieces of Napoleon's soul reincarnating as different individuals. It's like, how many acorns does a tree produce? A gajillion. And then, those acorns sprout and grow and create their own. I mean, this is how I see things.
uh-huh.
This is how I perceive this realm and reality, and that's what affects my artwork and affects my philosophy, simulation assumptionism on the website.
Yeah. Do you want to go through that a little bit? If I pull it up,
Sure.
let me see here. Where did I put it? There. Okay, here we go.
So go to so we're at the top 13 tenets of
Yes.
simulation assumptionism. And that's exactly what I was talking about right there. The number 13 is the eternal mathematical principles of nature, is
Mm,
that uh, Aristotle said all is number,
mm,
and the Fibonacci sequence and golden ratio is nature's way of arranging itself to where the plants kind of work that way and in that fashion. Boy, I got another gnat in here.
It might be a sign. You maybe just leave it alone.
Well, I've got lemons in my drink, and I don't know what the deal is with it.
Well, you
So
never.
artificial intelligence, everything is remembered already. If you subscribe to hashtag simulation assumptionism, uh, you don't need a chip embedded in your head to go to Costco or Whole Foods to buy your food, right?
Uh,
Everything is remembered already. It's redundancy, school of redundancy. And within the Bible quote I like to quote in regards to this is, every grain of sand and every blade of grass is recorded. And that's the crazy thing about the infinite and the eternal, that it's hard for normal people to kind of grasp, is that we are in something so amazing and so brilliant that to conceive that everything is remembered forever is a super hard thing for us little human beings with our narrow bandwidth of perception, that we perceive. And for me, an artist who comes from the school of Terence McKenna. Do you know who Terence McKenna is? The philosopher who was a psychonaut.
Wait, Terence McKenna?
Terence McKenna.
Terence McKenna.
So if you go to, yeah, that's him right there. Man, you are fast. You're a good typer. Go to YouTube and look up Terence McKenna Art's Task. Because this is like my mantra.
Terence McKenna what?
Art's Task. So we'll play that. It's the short. Do the short one. It's like 27 seconds right there.
Art's task is to save the soul of mankind, and that anything less is a dithering while Rome burns. Because if the artists who are self-selected for being able to journey into the other, if the artist cannot find the way, then the way cannot be found.
Those pictures.
So yeah, that's
from DMT.
That's my mantra. And I also do a very mean Terence McKenna. Would you like to hear it?
We don't want to see that. Okay, thanks.
No, so did you just say you don't want to see that to me?
Oh no, that was a commercial just started automatically.
Oh yeah. No, I said I do a very mean Terence McKenna.
Yes, that we do want to see for sure.
Art's task is to save the soul of mankind, and anything less is a dithering while Rome burns. Because if the artists who are in fact self-selected to be able to journey into the other, if the artists can't find the way, then the way cannot be found.
You should make your own, though. You need to be known as, Blake, and do your own thing.
Well, that's what this is. This is my kind of coming out party. Not this with you, but I'm turning this into a full-time job as an artist philosopher who has amassed some knowledge, and I want to share it with the world. And I especially want to share it with the ruling elite who are thinking so badly and acting like such, in fear of. We don't have to act like this. We don't have to, make profit from death and destruction. We don't have to monetize health, and we don't have to do all these other things. We need to redesign reality to where, and I've got a plan for all this stuff. I really, really, really do. And, I want people to write books about it. I want people to freaking interview me. This is really the first podcast I've been on, or live stream, Maaxx, that I've really kind of. It's right. So, I'm interested in being a public speaker, going to conferences. I've got, as a matter of fact, instead of going on the website, because the website's kind of automated, I could share my screen and we could discuss the deck. And let me do that real quick.
Or if you want me to share the whole screen, I might have to do it.
Well, it's a PowerPoint presentation.
Oh, okay. So see how that would work. I think.
Let me see if I share my screen, I might just only. Oh, here's my window.
Pull you up full screen, actually. Yeah. So share your screen, and then I'll just swap to. No, that's not what I meant to do. Okay.
Keynote. Let's see if that works.
We show.
Is it sharing?
Nope. I don't know if you can do it. That's the thing.
It looks like I might. Oh, here's a window. Here, I can share. Let me see if I can share my entire screen. Let me hide some stuff.
Yeah.
No, I've got 10 billion tabs open.
Oh yeah.
But I have 2 monitors, so I can.
I mean, you guys
I'll
can
swap
see
them out.
all my tabs. This is only half of what I usually have because somehow my computer shut off the other day and turned everything off. Actually, while you look for that, I want to show you. Do you remember this kid that 15 years ago explained the fourth dimension?
Yes,
You remember him?
I've watched that.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it's really cool. If ever, I'll save these in the caption too. So I actually, people were like, "Oh my god, what happened to him?" Everyone thought he died or something. Like there was
No
not a
joke.
trace of him after those 15 years. I found him. So I actually found him.
Are you going to interview him?
I've messaged him. He hasn't gone back to me. I found him on Instagram. So he's like old now, obviously. And he
Sure.
does kind of similar things, even though he's probably even more like out there now. A lot of his videos, so I watched a lot of them. And I think like if he was that smart and advanced at that age, like you can
Right.
probably imagine how he talks now. I can't say I fully
Right.
understand everything, but it's good stuff though. It's good stuff.
Okay, I think I'm set.
Yep.
Let's see if I can.
Let's try it. And guys, I see all your comments. We have 1 million comments, and I'm gonna read them later. I promise.
So what are the comments?
Oh, you want me to start reading? If I start reading them, then we're reading comments for a while. It's a lot because I'm streaming 6 platforms, so there are comments on different.
Oh yeah, because I can only see on this nobulataclub.com. I can only see that there's 8.
You can no, that's no, that doesn't mean anything.
Okay. Can you see my screen?
No, I can't. So like Instagram is its own thing, Rumble is its own thing. I don't even know what the streaming app. The only streaming app is only showing people from X for some reason. I don't know why.
Oh, okay.
But all the other platforms, I have to look at the platforms, so you can't actually see them.
Oh, maybe let me try sharing a tab. I'll go to my website
Somebody said
because it's not letting me share the PowerPoint.
I was meant to see you today. Welcome, Deanna. Is that something only artists can understand?
Hi, Deanna.
Oh, somebody asked about the dog food. I can put that in the link too. I don't actually remember what it was called, but I put the dog food. So it's actually a famous actress that used to be in Hollywood, and she left and started her own farm, which I thought was cool. And for some reason, I've been seeing her videos for like a year. And you know when they come in your face, no, not come in your face. That sounded wrong. When the videos keep popping up in your face. So I never watched.
Double entendre.
Yeah, I never watched a full video. I just watched snippets of it, and then the other day it popped up again. And obviously, we've been talking a lot because Joel was buying some food for Tiger, and then I give him my farm meat, but I don't have enough meat for him, us both to eat every day, all the time, you know. So I was like, should
Right.
I just order like half an animal just for him? Like, what should I do, you know? Oh, here we go. Yes. Let me see. Where do we put this one? I can see it. I just need to figure. Oh, there we go. Either way, so this video popped up. I watched the entire video of the dog food, and I was like, game on. I ordered 8 bags. I was like, I'm sold. They're going through every ingredient and how they air bake it and everything to not lose nutrients. And I was like, you know what? I'm down. I'm gonna try it. It seems good, looks good, smells good. He loves it. So, and usually
What's the dog?
Oh, now I can't hear you actually. Say something.
Hello?
No.
Hello?
Your voice is Can you turn the Wait, why does it do that? Yeah, I can't hear you. Somehow when you did this.
Can you now? Can you now?
Mm-mm. That's weird. Somehow when you did the screen share.
Stop sharing. Can you hear now?
Oh goodness. Mm-mm. You sound like a robot.
Oh man.
Somehow. Wait.
Magnitude.
I can get back to the freaking. Now I can't get myself back. What just happened?
I can see me.
Oh,
Can you hear me?
yeah, now I can hear. Okay, so now when I pull up your screen share, your voice just doesn't work
Goes
anymore.
away. Okay.
Yeah. If you want to send it to me, I can do it though. I can
Yeah, I'll email you the deck.
PowerPoint. Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
no, it'll be a PDF. You can just flip through it.
Oh,
There's
okay.
no
Yeah, that
there's
works.
nothing fancy. I'll email it to you right now.
Yes, that shall work. Okay, I'll read some comments while we wait on that. Okay, let's see what we have. Some of these might be either it's the hidden energy. The driver killed him. I think it was Kennedy they're talking about.
Right.
Wish.
Oh yeah. There's some but see the whole thing is that the Zapruder film was very much altered, and
Yeah.
they didn't release it for the longest time because they were, using 1960s and 70s technology to doctor it, and there's all kinds of crazy crap that goes along with that. Yeah. So yeah, but the guy who ran the operation and who everybody knows him. So the person who that's how they made their bones, and that's a clue as well. So I'll just send this to you.
Mm-hmm. And then, Joss saying, I wish someday Maaxx wears this outfit on a podcast with me. Joss, I'll get creative. This is our friend in Netherlands. So he used to be in a vampire cult. So we've done a whole 4-hour episode about the vampire cults. It's crazy. Probably one of my most viewed lives ever. And then he was in politics. We did a politician episode. We did a transhumanism episode. So he's been involved in a lot of things, has a lot of cool information and documents and books and videos and everything. So he's always a very great guest to have. And he also said you have great guests. So he's liking our episode today too.
Oh, this is great. Listen, there's nothing I get talk about joy. I love talking about this stuff. I love it because it's so fascinating, interesting, and it's, how many times can you talk about the weather or your job? I mean, this is what we're here to do. And Terence McKenna, I'll quote him. There's this book that he reads from, and I'll try to find the video. We can pull it up later. But he talks about the purpose of man, and this is like one of those suppressed books that kind of got pushed aside by modern society.
I have a free ebook for people to download, and one of the pages is just books to read. Like, for example, the Illuminati trilogy from 1975 is one of the
right
have there that basically we're just sharing everything. So if you have any cool books, please do let me know, and I will tell people to
well
go.
I'm a YouTube guy. I watch freaking YouTube like it's I don't really even watch television anymore. I'll watch Netflix or Hulu or something, but the news, I don't watch any of that stuff.
No.
There's a reason why they call it programming,
Yeah.
television program. It's like that. This is how they want you to think. George Carlin routine.
Media
There's
is Joel, my friend Joel. He does hypnotizing and stuff. Like all they do, they're trying to hypnotize people. That's what they're doing.
right.
Brainwashing and
Yeah.
hypnotizing them, and people don't even realize. So that's why if you're going to be on social media, I mean, I am on here too. Yeah, I'm sitting here right now. But what people probably don't understand, which is I have a lot of friends sometimes. Oh, Maaxx, did you see my story today? No, I'm sorry, but I don't watch anybody's shit. I'm completely honest. I go
Right.
on, I do my deed for humanity, and I am out. Sometimes
Right.
I do a little bit of research, yes, then I might. But if you're my friend, if you want to tell me what the fuck you did today, give me a phone call. I don't need to watch your story. Why don't we go and hang out? Like, why I'm not gonna sit and look at your stuff. I'm sorry. Oh, you went to the gym.
Right.
Great. That's great. How about you call me and tell me about your day? That would be great. I would like that. Just
People don't really do that anymore.
No, that's why I always FaceTime people too. Even when I talk to people I've never met, I was like, I just want a face on you. Who are you? It's the best we can do now. Joss has a question for you. Do you know what a sin eater is? Rumors popes use it to drain themselves from sin like murder and greed.
That I will not pretend to know anything I don't know, and I have never heard of something like that. but within the realm of the infinite, all things are possible. There might be some sort of weird
Yeah.
technique or ritual that the
This is
people in the church do
moving.
that, yeah, I've never even heard of it.
Yeah. Well, Joss,
This,
I guess that's an episode for you and me to cover.
well, but here's the deal. That's based that someone wrote a book about it or it's a movie. So
Uh,
this is how these things are introduced into our realm of consciousness.
yeah.
And I will point out a tremendous, to answer your question, Josh. There's a Jimmy Dore episode
Uh,
that was just released in this past week.
mm,
The topic is measles back in the 60s and 70s and measles today, and
uh,
it's the Brady Bunch.
mhm.
So the Brady Bunch had an episode where all the kids got the measles, right? And it
Uh-huh.
was fun, and they had to stay home from school. They had a rash, they broke out, they had temperatures, but they stayed home and played games and ate popcorn and had a good time, right? So, oh shoot,
Let's
you know
see.
what? I gotta send you a different.
Oh
I
yeah.
gotta send you a
Let's
different
we can
deck.
actually put this on
Yeah,
here.
let me take that off because
Okay.
yeah, let me dump that one. Let me send you a better one
Yep.
because I gotta. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Let's just.
Ooh, God.
Oh, where did I product? Hang on. Give me one
Buddy
moment.
said,
It'll
"Hey
take
Max,
me there.
how's it going? Reaving, however you say your name. I'm very well. Thanks for asking. Just drop this out. Yeah, and then this.
I forgot about that.
Somebody said, "How did you find out about the dog food?" Yeah, I said the videos are. The universe brings me whatever I need to know all the time, and I believe that I've always been a loner, and people would always say, Max, I don't understand how you ever gonna find a partner, how you ever gonna do anything, you don't even leave your house. And I said, here's the thing. And one friend joked, do you think somebody's just gonna fall in the window? I'm like, you're clearly not spiritual, huh? Because I was like, yeah. Do you know what I do? Again, I manifest people all the time. And I say, universe, who do I need to meet? Who do I need to talk to? Every single day for like 2 years now, I have met somebody interesting. Every single day, I meet somebody interesting that
Right,
I'm supposed to meet. So even though I don't see, and people that do meet me in person, I might seem like a very social person. I'm actually not at all. I'm in small doses.
Max? Would you consider yourself an introvert?
Yes. I mean, like both. It's when I am actually, I need to, that's why I don't go and do things I don't want to do. I'm not going to go to a concert or a festival or a big thing. Like, I don't want to do anything I don't want to do. I work for myself. I don't have to go to a job because I want to, when I do anything, if it's a video or whatever you want to call it, we can call it work. If I do something, I want to do it with love. I don't want to go to a job and be forced to do something. Do you know why there's so much bad energy in the world? Because people sit all day long and do shit they hate.
Yeah,
I do everything I do with love. So if you, maybe that is why a lot of people, I used to do a lot of photo shoots and stuff in the past, and I always worked on my terms. Like, people will send me their product, they're like, Max, do whatever you want. I don't have a specific day or time I have to shoot it. I would shoot it, and the content was so popular and made people so much money for a while, it was ridiculous. So I started bumping up my rates, and I was like, because I get to do the work when I want to, when I'm the most creative, when I'm the most happy, and that love is going to show in what I give to you. Doesn't that make
right.
sense? And that's
It
what I'm like,
totally
you
does.
never have to work. You should just do what you love. And if you don't love something, then don't fucking do it. It's really that easy. It really is.
Right,
Because, and I know that people are scared. I used to live in Sweden. This is my first time ever that I did something crazy like this. Actually, I've done it prior to that, but I'm there and I was like, I'm not happy, hate my apartment, hate my job, I don't want to be here, don't like my friends. It's like, I quit my job. One day I go to the office to this. I was like, I'm quitting my job. He's like, okay, I'm moving to the United States. He's like, my boss like this. Okay, wait, are you serious? Yeah, I'm gonna move. I decided, I bought the flight ticket and everything. I didn't even have a visa or anything when I decided this. Rented out my apartment, packed my fucking bags, and just like, okay, how am I gonna be there? Oh, I'll just apply for a student visa. We'll figure it out. One day before the flight, I got my visa. I was about to not even have a visa when I left. I was like, everything is fine. I like to put myself in situations where there is no other way than it for me to fix it. Like, because I don't fail. That's not an option
Right.
for me. Failure is never an option. So if I was talking to somebody the other day. I said, if you took everything I have, if you came over here, you took my bank account and you took my home and my car, everything away from me and just kicked me out in the street, in 1 week, you'll find me sorted out my shit somewhere. Because
Right.
that's just, failure is never an option. And I think sometimes if you hate your job, I know it sounds crazy, but how about you just quit? Because now there is no other option than to find another job. But if you go to your job every day, maybe I'll find another job so one day I can leave. No, you never will. Like you're just going to be in the shit.
All right, I'm
That's
pumping out another PDF and sending it to you.
perfect. So I think people need to take a little bit more risks. And I think maybe it's not for everybody. I get that. But
Well,
you're going to be
I tell
shitting
you what,
that
this
vegan
I don't
diet.
really feel like I have a choice taking a risk by doing this. I think this is my, my calling.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's professional suicide, but I think the way, if you look at the world today and how things work, and the whole USAID thing, with how people were just kind of getting paid to do this, that, and the other, and they really weren't getting paid; they were just getting money.
What I just say.
Yeah, that's exactly. I'm kind of, I guess I'm in a roundabout way, I'm agreeing with you, right?
This is not a regular passport. Well, we're going to cover more about that stuff, but I don't believe in any of the matrix. And I had an argument, going back and forth with somebody on X the other day. This person is telling me, they're talking about the carnivore diet. And they're saying some stuff, and I said, hey, I am a meat eater just like you, but I would like to say to you that the things you are stating about vegan people isn't true. I said, it might be true sometimes, blah, blah, blah. I have blah, blah. Either way. And I said, change your mind, change your life. I believe that if you believe that you can be a vegan, you can. If you believe you can't, you can't, right? Like my friend King Bao, who's been vegan for 6 years, one of the best fighters in the world. I doubt there is a person on this planet that could touch this man. And then we're going either way, we're going back and forth. And this man says, I left the matrix. I'm not even a part of it anymore. Everything you're saying is wrong. I said, okay, do you pay taxes? Do you have a job? Do you ever use the medical system? And what else did I say? Something more. And I said, and do you believe that you need to eat for energy? I said, if any of these answers are yes, you're still in the matrix. I'm sorry.
Right.
But I don't know what people believe is the matrix. If you still pay your taxes or believe that you have to go to a job to get a paycheck, you're in the matrix. I'm sorry to tell you. Or even if you actually believe you need money at all.
Yeah, and see, what I talk about in the presentation deck I just sent you, the PDF. I talk about money. It's a part of the top 13 tenets of simulation assumptionism of how money. There's nothing wrong with money. It's just that there's something wrong with human beings, and what that is that it's greed, and we need to, money needs to be governed. So, and how do we do that?
If there was money, there would be no poverty.
Right. Well, yeah, exactly. And well, it's everybody's dream to live off their. Here, I'll move over here. It's everybody's dream to kind of sit on the beach and drink their, their Mai Tai or their, their margarita, and just live off their interest. And why don't we design reality to where that actually happens for everybody?
Yep.
And the people who haven't reached that point yet are all the ones taking care of you, right? And, making your drink and, fluffing your pillow and cleaning your hotel room. But then when they get to be a certain age, they graduate and change places with you. But there's so many different ways to do this. And again, it kind of, is there a way to make this? I guess there isn't a way to do full screen.
Oh, of course.
Because we're real small. No, I like us being in the shot. I like that so that people can see it.
It's however, jump back and forth.
So anyway, this is simulation assumptionism. You know, it's kind of made with old timey. I like to call it Tartaria. There's another conspiracy theory for you. Are you familiar with the concept of Tartaria and the mud floods, Maaxx?
Please do talk about it. I've heard about it. I can't say that I know a lot though. No.
It's like, you know how the World Economic Forum wants to do a great reset for like 2030, and that's what they're working towards, and that's why they're doing all this crazy.
We went through the whole
crap
agenda here a few weeks ago.
Yeah, so not on board with that team, or Klaus Schwab. He's talk about Trump always says central casting.
Mm-hmm.
Klaus Schwab is like Dr. Evil. I mean. Yep. And I think he's going for that because all the world is a stage, and this is kind of what we're uncovering here, is that he's just kind of playing a role or a concept. But the purpose of me putting forth this philosophy is there's got to be a better way to do things, and that's kind of what I talk about here in this presentation. I can't read that because it's too small, so I got to pull it up.
Oh.
No, you're good. You're good. I'll just flip through it. So the world needs new concepts, and they can't be squashed. I mean, there's been all kinds of, there's plenty of local news footage that's been put out there on YouTube where you look for a guy that says, hey, Bob Smith invented a car that runs on water. And, the local news team goes and interviews him, and they're like, and, Bob's sitting there, he's got his engine. He's like, yeah, I get 495 miles to the gallon on water, and it's just water vapor that it evokes. And it's great because I got two guys from the Pentagon coming to visit me on Tuesday, and they're really anxious because they want to incorporate it into the military. And then, a week later, the local news station goes, we have some bad news for you. Bob Smith, the guy that invented the car that runs on water, died in a one-car crash, suicide, with 2 bullet holes in the back of his head. And we can't find his invention anywhere, So this is the kind of crap that's happened with innovation, because there's the powers that be, they don't want their gravy train to be disrupted. So they keep everybody else down. And I address that in my top 13 tenets of simulation assumptionism. So next slide, please.
Yes, sir.
I hope that makes sense. Let's see. This one says, this demonstrates that simulation assumptionism is a way. It's just one way. There's plenty of different ways to do things, and that all has to do with the whole arts task thing I said earlier. But this is a way for society to freaking pivot away from these destructive, negative, parasitical is a great word, types of ways, the way reality is designed right now. And it's like, going back to the drawing board and really kind of doing something for the betterment of a lot more people instead of just, the 0.001%, because those are the ones that really are the only ones benefiting from the way things are set up right now. Yes. So next slide. This is kind of like, what validates me, Joe Schmo, to talk about this. And I don't know if you know who that guy is, Buckminster Fuller. Buckminster Fuller, I think is how, don't try to fix a broken system, replace it with a better one. And I think our system right now, it works for very, very few people. So it is a system that does work. But this is what I'm talking about, can run parallel.
System set up, it works, but by sucking shit out of the rest of the people to make it work, right? So
parasite.
it doesn't work. Yeah, because they're utilizing, if the 1% didn't have the 99%, none of this would be. Right.
Exactly. So do you have any questions so far, Maaxx? Do you want to, and please feel free to interrupt at any time, for sure, because I can sit there and blather on and on about this stuff.
Please do.
Okay, so what validates me? So this is kind of like my history and why I have this attitude towards life, and I've been able to kind of come up with this whole philosophy from my vantage point. And the reason why is because I've done. You get next slide. I'm a knowledge conduit. And all these people in this kind of picture are have all, are kind of my top source of the many influences that I've had through the course of my life and my career. Jimmy Dore, first column on the left, third one down. That's the comedian who I've really been listening to. But right above him is Mr. Rogers, Fred Rogers from Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. Below them is Randall Carlson and Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan's actually in here twice. He's in here by himself. And then the young guy with the mustache underneath them is a guy, Ian Carroll. The way he does things and the way he documents things, super influential to me. And he kind of has helped me, get up my courage to really come out in the open as a, quote unquote thinker and influencer and get things rolling here. But people can look at this on the replay, and Maaxx can put my email address in there, and so people can contact me or go to my website and fill out my contact form on the website, reality-redesign.com. So next, go ahead.
By my friend King Bao after he made an entire 1.5 hour video about everything. I'm gonna send it to you.
Oh my God, I'd love to watch that.
Yeah, people should go watch. It's covering. You guys would get along well. I might be smart and stuff, but I feel like him and to be completely honest,
that's a great T-shirt, Maaxx. You should put on your site.
Him up there right now. People know. It's just that he's banned everywhere. So, but
yeah, this is what happens.
One of the most genius people I've ever met. How his brain works is just beyond me.
Right, for sure. Well, people kind of tell me the same thing. What was his name again?
King Bao. You can search King Bao Jimmy Kimmel Challenge to see his video that went viral.
Oh yeah, and he's your shaman, right?
That's what I call him. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, for sure, that's an apt description. It's a very apt description. Yeah. So let me see. Let me ask you. Have you had a near-death experience?
Yes and no. Kind of, but I didn't actually die. That was kind of like my turning point for everything in life. How I started changing my mind on everything. I broke my wrist. Like, no big deal. Just fell, broke my wrist. No biggie, Had a very shitty doctor who treated me incorrectly. So I ended up having about 13 months of a arm that looked like I don't know what. And I can pull up the picture.
Oh,
and the doctor kept telling me that, it's your fault. You haven't been doing rehab properly. And I was like, excuse me? I'm a bodybuilder. I have done everything to fix this. So this is after the surgery, but this is what it looked like first. So you see how
wow.
I have a wrist. This hand was like a sloppy little cloth just hanging there. It didn't work. It was just it's this arm. It was just hanging there, and I'm like, I couldn't do anything with it. I couldn't turn it. I couldn't really pick things up. I'm like, this is like a dead fish here. What's going on? And they're like, yeah, it's your fault. It's my fault. So I ended up having a neighbor who was a facial reconstructive surgeon. Doesn't work with wrist, but he looked at my x-ray and he said, that is not good.
It's not, it wasn't, it looks like he didn't set it correctly.
When I went in for surgery, I went to Sweden. I had thousands of pieces of crushed bone in the arm. There was no wrist structure existing anymore at all. So
I'm amazed that you've got full. Do you have any handicap from it, or?
No, because I got it fixed. Because my lawyer told me to be a cripple. Because these lawsuits can take years, and I said, I'm out. I don't care about the system. I don't care about the money. Fuck these people. I would take care of it. I am not going to walk around in my life being a cripple. I know people do that. They're like, okay to be a cripple to get money. I'm like, you guys are absolutely fucked up. That's why the world is so fucked up. You'd rather take a bunch of money than actually functioning. And you think that's going to make you happy? This is what's wrong with people. I don't give a fuck about money. I don't care about money. I want my health and all this stuff. Either way, so I'm in the hospital in Sweden. When they go in, they realize that this is way worse than we would have ever thought. Surgery was about 11 hours. First, I had to go through weeks of evaluation because fucking on anesthesia doesn't work on me. You know, it's just medication doesn't work on me. So either way, they managed to put me to sleep finally. I wake up and what's going on? They can't ease my pain. And this is crazy with the DMT trip I did. So right as I go into the DMT trip, the first thing I saw was myself right after surgery, because these doctors try to give me pain medication and it's not working because I just pee it out. And I'm in so much pain, I can't breathe almost. So he
Right.
was like, I don't know what to do. He said, nothing seems to work on you. We have one more thing we can try. And I don't know what he gave me, but I saw what I saw in the DMT trip. And
Oh,
back then,
wow.
it was a bad thing because I was in the hospital, right? So right as
Right.
I go into the DMT trip, I was like, oh my God, I've been here before. And I
Oh,
was
yeah.
like, oh, it was when I broke my wrist. Wait, but this is beautiful. You know, it was kind of like that. So whatever it was, it only lasted very short. And then they thought I got compartment syndrome. My whole arm turned blue. It was
Ugh.
Christmas. Nobody's at the hospital. 18 hours. I'm pressing a button and the nurse got tired of me and just stopped helping me. So 18 hours I was laying there in so much pain that I thought I was going to die.
Ugh.
My body went into shock. I can't feel my body. Like I literally laying there and I was like, this is it. Like it hurt so much. I don't know how much longer I can fight this pain. I don't know how
Right.
much longer I can do this. I'm just going to give up and fucking die. You know, it was like that. And then I fucking cried a little and then I was like, no, this is not it. You know, this is
Right.
fucking life. This is
You made the decision to freaking gut it out.
Yeah. And then eventually the doctor came back, looked at the nurse and said, what the fuck? Why did you not call me? And she's like, he's like, she needs surgery again. And this nurse is like, when? He's like, 10 minutes ago. And now I'm like, this is my freakiest moment of my life. Two doctors looking down at me here. We don't know if we have time to put you to sleep. We have to save this arm or you will not have an arm. And I'm like, okay, now I'm gonna die. So they managed to put me to sleep and fix it. But yeah, that was probably the most scared I've ever been.
Wow.
You're gonna do surgery on me without anesthesia. You know, I'm like, I don't mind pain, but I've had pain for 18 hours now. I can't do anymore. You know,
Jeez.
that was crazy. It was really crazy.
That's a harrowing experience to go
and
through,
after that, I got
especially.
a blood clot too, because they had me laying still for 3 days.
Wow.
So, but then they told me, you're never gonna do push-ups again in your life. I'm sorry. I did push-ups 3 weeks after surgery. That's how I got my motion back in the wrist.
Yeah. Well, that's yeah. You know, they're gonna tell you.
Yeah.
You know, it's perception versus reality. A lot of it is, and it's, you know, if they say, oh, you're never gonna be able to do X, Y, Z again, or you're gonna, you know, you got, you know, 3 weeks to live and all that other stuff. That's what, you know, it's, again, this kind of goes to the placebo method. You know, if they give you a pill, here, nothing works, but this pill is going to work, Maaxx, and it's going to put you to sleep, and you believe that pill is going to work and put you to sleep, it does. So, but if you believe it's not going to, then it doesn't. That's why people who, I don't believe in ghosts, I never see them. Well, and I don't believe in them. So if you believe you'll
start being open to things. So I didn't necessarily believe in things in the past.
Right.
For example, God. I didn't believe in God whatsoever. And then I came to the point in my life where I was like, you know what? I'm open to anything. I'm open to anything. Bring it on. I believe in God now because I saw and felt and communicated with whatever you want to call that it is. But, and then, you know, fast forward now, I am in my meditations inviting entities. And here's the thing, if you can come out and say, I don't believe in ghosts. How about you actually open yourself up and invite it? Get your own proof. You don't have to believe somebody's word, but once you're open to things, they will come to you.
Well, I second that. And I mean, I totally believe in God, I believe Jesus existed. I believe in a creator. I believe that this place was created for us. And it's just we've been kind of bamboozled
But
into thinking this place is something different than what it actually really is.
because
So,
I believe this. So yeah, I do believe that Jesus existed. If it's exactly like they wrote, I don't know. But it's a person who ascended to a level where they were able to achieve magical things, right? There are many
Christ
people that believe that.
consciousness.
Yeah. But you don't believe that you could be a Jesus?
I believe we all have the capacity to the highest to achieve our highest potential, and it's become individualized now.
Mm-hmm.
It's like what we talked earlier. There used to be 3 media channels. It used to be Catholic or Christian, Muslim, Jewish. There used to be and no offense to our Asian friends with all their stuff,
Mm-hmm.
but in the Western world there was 3 channels. Now there's this is the way consciousness is unfolding for all of us, where it's dissolving out into tinier branches, or not, I wouldn't say tinier, just more and more and more branches moving forward in time, like a tree. We all used to be a part of a big trunk that maybe had like 3 main branches, and now we're all this is how our lungs look. This is how our blood vessels organize themselves, our DNA, our molecules. This is the structure of consciousness that it's my contention with this deck we're going through, and why I can validate what you're talking about and what this philosophy I'm putting forth into the world. Uh, there's validity to what both of us are saying right now in regards to how things work, and why you came to the conclusion you came, and why I've come to the conclusion I've come to through, hey, I've been here before. I did this through my my anesthesiologist. It says the same thing with DMT. Everybody has that familiar feeling when I've never done DMT.
Mm-hmm.
Would love to try it, but I've never done it.
You're
Because
like,
to me, it's mystical. It's
gotta
a
be
part of,
stuff made with love, with good energy. So I would
for
not
sure, for
want
sure.
that stuff on the street.
Oh yeah, yeah. No, thank you for that. No, thank you for that. But yeah, I've been out of my body and I've been dead before. That's what
Yep.
this
Yeah.
slide. That I died when I was 16. A lot of stuff happened to me when I was 16, 17 years old.
Uh-huh.
But I had a near-death experience on a cross-country meet. I had heat exhaustion, and I
Uh,
freaking popped out of my body and saw myself lying on the ground. And
Jim, he died for a little. It's the craziest thing they've ever seen. A fighter on prep, heat stroke.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. So next slide, please. Speaking of shaman, I had a shamanistic experience
Mm-hmm.
on an acid trip when I was 16 years old. I did acid,
Uh-huh.
LSD, before I even smoked pot, and I did it because, like I said, or like you said, set and setting. Do it in a place from love, and this is, I had the most innocent and best of intentions for the universe. I was like, I can't wait to see what this shows me.
Mm-hmm.
And what this showed me, Maaxx, was a very horrific vision while I was in the throes of ecstasy. Because if I don't, you're not a big hallucinogen drug person. Well, I used to be, and this goes down the hallway of the whole Terence McKenna experience.
Mm-hmm.
But my first acid trip was an amazing revelation for me in regards to this art piece that I painted, and it's called
Mm-hmm.
Journey to My Ancient Lesson.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like 6 canvases, and I just have the biggest 3 here, but it's exactly like the movie Star Wars, the very first Star Wars,
Mm-hmm.
where, Luke and Obi-Wan Kenobi and Han Solo and Chewbacca come out of hyperdrive after they escape the Empire chasing them, and they're going to Alderaan, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they come out and they're in an asteroid field, and they're like, hey, this planet's supposed to be here. And then a TIE fighter whizzes by, and they're like, oh, we got to catch that TIE fighter or he's going to tell on us. So they're chasing after him, and Luke points and says, oh, he's heading for that small moon. And Obi-Wan goes, that's no moon, that's a space station. So that's in the very first Star Wars. And I loved it and fell in love with that movie when I was 11. And the universe showed me this when I was 16. And it's like, that's no moon. It's kind of like Mars. And if you see that first dot there, it's like Mars, but it's got on the South Pole, it's got like a stadium or like a Coliseum that's been there since the dawn of time. And then you zoom in on the Coliseum and there's this guy by himself in the middle of the Coliseum. But the gravity is coming from the top down. It's not coming from the planet. It's coming from the void, right?
Yeah.
And there's a headstone that it's the only thing this guy has to do. It's very much like a Greek myth, like Sisyphus myth, or, but it's like I'm nailed to the bottom of this planet out in the middle of nothingness. And it's like through my right eye. And the Bible verse that's carved into stone next to my head is, why do you point out the speck of dust in your neighbor's eye, but you pay no attention to the plank in your own? And that speaks exactly to hypocrisy. And let me tell you something. I don't know if you know this or if you recognize this in the world today. Hypocrisy is freaking ubiquitous and rampant in our culture, every culture. It's in the worldwide culture. People say one thing and do another. They project one thing and they do another. Social media is, oh, my life is beautiful, but then behind the scenes, I'm miserable.
I have very, very, very few people in my life whom the people I value the most, I can count on like 2 or 3 fingers.
All
And
right.
the main thing with them is they always keep their word. They always do what they say and they always follow through, which is how I see myself always being. And I've my whole life always overextend myself to everybody, because if I say something, I always do it. And
Yeah.
it to a lot of people in the world, it doesn't seem like their words matter. They're like, no, whatever. They say something and then I was like, I think that's a fucking big deal. But it doesn't
Right.
people even think it's a big deal.
So I was just using my eyes to check direction because I want to look at my art and point at it. But what you just said and what you touched on, that's really the only currency you really have as a avatar / human being on planet Earth is your word. And I've fallen down flat on my face over and over and over again as a human being, like we all have. Everyone's a sinner. But you come back, you pick yourself up, you dust yourself off, you freaking move forward. And, this painting, this artwork of mine speaks directly to, and it was very cathartic for me to paint this. I painted this in my early 30s. It happened to me when I was 16, but I carried it around with me every day until I got it down on canvas. And let me tell you something, it was super cathartic. And my life is a great story, like we're all a great story, and human beings need to tell a better story for all our whole existence, and for all of us in this physical realm that we all share together. And my story kind of fits in with that. I don't have a lot of art, but my art that I have kind of tells a better story when it's narrated. And you can advance to the next slide, please. Yes. I hope I'm making sense and I'm not boring anybody.
Oh no, we all need to make art. And I've started I haven't made that cool Spider-Man. That's from another girl. But everything up here is all made by, no, I'm like pointing the wrong way. Everything up here is made by me. Maybe I'll show my art some other day. But
well, and here's the deal. You keep touching on great points. I'm going to say a couple things. And this relates right back and ties back to it. So you just said we all have to make art. That is absolutely positively true. That's what Terence McKenna's quote talks about. But here's the other thing. If you can't make art, you can curate it, you can collect it, you can talk about it, you can promote other artists, you can do all that stuff. But in regards to the powers that be and the Agenda 2030 and the World Economic Forum and all that stuff, Maaxx, where is their art?
Yeah.
Where is it?
Well, I
They
believe
don't have any art.
there's a single person out there that can't make art. I think people think, oh, making art is when you paint something, or making art.
No.
No, anything can be freaking art. What if you go out and you find a rock here and I don't know, do something with it?
Carve it, shape it,
Art.
do whatever.
You can do what
Make it into tools.
Okay, I mean, I understand, like, I'm a content creator, so yes, I do paint and draw and take pictures. I do that kind of art. But now I bought tape. That's actually what hold on. I mean,
Here, you can move the presentation so we can see it.
okay. So I made these. So Joel next door here, he is really good at making blackout art. So he does
cool.
poetry, right? Poetry is not my strong skill. So what I did, actually, this one I did make. So this is all tape. I just put tape, and then there's art, and it says, "Her who believed the lying owe her beginning for the alien warlords." This is not, I didn't make that up. This is Joel's. This one,
Right.
waste no time to help serve the regarding affairs that he agreed to the terms of. I just took his art, bought tape. Oh my God, it's falling off. Never mind. Maybe I should do it. Okay, it fell off. So typically when you do blackout art, like you just draw around the words, but I cut the word out, put tape on a canvas, and put it on, and it looks dope as fuck, right? So, like, why it doesn't have?
It's super cool.
I can make complicated art. Don't get me wrong, but everything doesn't have to be so complicated. All I did was, and this tape, it's just 2 strips of tape. It comes like that. It's just 2 strips of tape on a canvas. Like, don't complicate things, guys. Anyone can make art. You can make super advanced stuff. Yeah, and I can't make stuff like that. This is crazy. She paints and stuff. That's me too. I just cut tape pieces out. And this is a picture I took of Joel. So I took a photo of him, and then I took the words from the Kabbalion and printed them on. So photos, that's my strong skill. I'm very good at taking pictures.
Right.
You just have to find the thing,
Well, and you've, again, touching upon anybody can make art in regards to Tartaria and the mud floods. The way they used to build things back in the day had a ton more craftsmanship, a tons more intricate detail. They, the old phrase, they don't build them like they used to.
Oh, did I lose you? Nope. Yeah, there. Oh, it's not. Oh, I know why. Hold on. We've been on for a while, and I don't have.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, it's my computer. Sorry, I gotta plug the charger in because I have so many cables plugged into the computer for the live stream, so there's no room for the.
Oh yeah, I froze there for a minute.
There we go. Okay, we're back. Somebody said make.
Are you back?
Make a rock pet. They said.
Oh, there we go.
That's a good idea. A rock pet.
Pet rocks. No, but what you're touching, we brought up. There's a delay now, and I'm behind, but that's okay.
Here.
So, can you?
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Perfect from here. Yeah. That's interesting.
Oh, okay. So, the way they used the old phrase, they don't build them like they used to. That touches upon. There used to be so many more craftsmen and so many more people that were skilled in architecture, carving, artistry, painting. This is what people used to spend their days and how they made their livings through the different artists guild and sculptors and all that kind of stuff. And I don't know why that changed. Now everything's kind of like a glass block square building. There's everything's very, especially if you go to like Russia, the way communist was, all the buildings look the same. And I touch upon this in I had on my own podcast, Reality Redesign. If you go to my website, podcast number 5, Laird Scranton, who is from Magical Egypt. I don't know if you've ever heard of that, but we talk about architecture and how you resonate.
You said
it's that one right there.
This?
Yeah. So Laird Scranton was or still is. He's one of my good pals, and a lovely man, and I just love him to death. But he's like super smart, and that's me and Laird talking about all kinds of stuff. He knows about the nuts and bolts about how consciousness operates on like a molecular atomic protons, neutrons, and electron level. So, and if you go and watch that podcast, plug, you can learn more about that. But again, that goes to magnetism and your environment resonating with you, and why they got rid of all the bells, because the bells resonance were healing. And cathedrals and stuff used to be place of healing with the pipe organs, and it used to be able, but the modern society with the Rockefellers and how they changed medicine forever, they wanted to monetize medicine, because it used to be you get better for free by going to the cathedrals. So let's move to the next slide. This is the visualization of quantitative data, and that's how consciousness kind of puts itself together, is through the different ones and zeros and sets of how things operate. And that's the Mandelbrot set. Benoit Mandelbrot, a great video that you could put in the chat or whatever, or in the description, is Fractals Hunting the Hidden Dimensions.
Wait.
And that's a Nova program.
All right, what did you say?
It's an hour long. Fractals hunting the hidden. Hunting, like Porky Pig and or Elmer Fudd, hunting the hidden dimensions. So this is how my brain came up with these concepts. This is kind of what I'm showing you in this.
A whole bunch of different. Hold on, let me show you here.
It's the one that's like 53 minutes long.
Yeah, they're both.
Do the one that's got it says something like Vietnamese or Viet. Let me see if I can blow this up on my screen so I can read it. No, that's it.
This one?
That's it. Yeah, and so that's got a Spanish translation. That's a good one to watch.
Okay.
Yeah. See, there it goes. It talks about fractals. Nature, it's everywhere. Nobody really recognized it until Benoit Mandelbrot fed a Julia set into an actual computer and had it run on an infinite loop, and it created. You can search for Mandelbrot sets on YouTube, and there's just thousands of them where you infinitely zoom forward on the z-axis through all kinds of different colors, shapes, sizes but they all basically kind of look like this swirl here, because it's all the Fibonacci sequence and the golden ratio, and how So I'll give you an example of how it works in the real world. Okay, you remember how in like the movie, what's it called? With Michael, Bud Fox, and Wall Street. Michael, the bad guy in it, the greed is good. He's up walking on the beach, and he's got a cell phone, and he's talking on his cell phone, and his cell phone's like this big. So that's because the technology at the time, that's how they had to make it work. But then you apply this thinking of the Mandelbrot set to where you make the antennas and stuff be a certain shape and size. It enables you to shrink the technology to now all our technology all looks like this, and it's small. It's much smaller. iPhone, everybody can make stuff look like that. So the movie. Whoa, that was loud.
Yeah, I know.
Sorry about that. And I am bombastic, by the way. So it's a trait. I need to freaking chill out my volume.
It's probably here, but they're always.
That's a good reminder.
Yes. Next.
Oh, that was me. Could you hear that?
Didn't hear anything.
Oh, good. All right, you can move on to the next slide from this one. I think we're almost done with my autobiographical. So this is like the purpose of this presentation is to get this in front of the ruling class. Somebody who's, hey man, let's.
Because we cover that topic a lot. A lot of these people in power are not actually human. That's what we think.
Yeah, and you know what? I buy into that. I'm David Icke. I know all about him and his perspective and stuff. I don't know if, this message is for every conscious being. You don't have to just be a human being. If you're, been around for eons, I don't know. I mean, there's got to be a,
well,
we should.
as far as I know, one kind of whatever they may potentially be is not a good kind. And if someone
Right.
doesn't believe in that, let's just say that you can also go in and invite to see these things. So I did a little test until I was told to not play around with that too much.
Right.
But I saw something. So I
Yeah.
am fully a believer.
Well, and right, and here is the deal with that. I mean, this is truth is stranger than fiction. This is reality is freaking crazy, and you know, but there's a creator that loves us, and the creator created all that stuff too. And we human beings only see a very narrow bandwidth. Like if the length of the screen that everybody's watching is like all the bandwidths of all the different vibrations or energies that exist, human beings see like a just minuscule portion of what we perceive. And that's why cats and dogs are so different. They have their own bandwidth that they perceive. Birds, all the animals, probably the ones that have the most.
Yourself, and not to say I'm no expert in any shape or form, but I am
Right.
actively in training right now to be able to see more things. Like, for example, right now I'm learning to see people's colors.
Auras. Right.
You can do
For
it
sure.
by different things. So we got
Well, it's like if you put enough time, effort, and energy into it, you can tune into that type of stuff.
Yeah,
and
just
that's for sure.
like everything else. So I was telling somebody, some people are lazy and they rather have surgery than go to the gym. I've been going to the gym pretty much, I mean, not every day, but pretty much every day for like decades. So what's saying that I wouldn't have to put the same amount of work into this? Because this is also, you just have to train, and it will come to you. And what I have experienced because of what I've been through, and also the fact that I am fully open to anything, the progress I've been making the last year is probably more than I made in my entire life combined.
And that's just with the MMA training and the mindset
No, I'm not talking
and all
about,
that.
I'm talking about spiritual things.
Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about your progress in the gym
No,
as well.
no, I said I compared it to that. You can't go to the gym
Oh,
and think you have muscle, just like spirituality and seeing outside of what we're used to. Like you said, it takes training. You got to train your mind. You got to train your pineal gland. Most people probably don't even know what a pineal gland is or how to
right.
even utilize it or activate it. But that's what I said. My last year, I've made more progress in this than I've ever done in my entire life in anything. Like if you
And that's enough.
I've
Go ahead.
experienced and seen, if you asked me a year ago, I would be like, what? Yeah, okay, that sounds cool. Like never in a million years did I think that I would be able to see and feel and do things like I do right now. And again, like I'm nowhere near where I want to be. And
Right.
yes, the MMA has a little bit to do with it because MMA is moving energy. I want to be amazing at moving energy.
Yeah, I need to bone up on that. That's for sure.
Yeah. And I have times where I can't just do whatever I want whenever I want. That's what I want to learn to control. So like, for example, I'm standing at home one day, I was doing something and I got this crazy energy vortex starting in my stomach. It's typically on me, it starts in my stomach. I'm feeling it. It's like a tornado of energy in my stomach. So I've learned how to actively just move it out to my hands. And now I'm standing here and it's like energy balls in my hand. I'm like, I got to do something with it. So I look around, I was like, what do I do? Oh, my water. So I stand and I'm just sending the energy over to my water in my kitchen and the water starts to move. Then I go over to my candle. I have a candle lit and I've been doing fire bending, right? And I go,
Right.
and not to think, though this fire almost fucking hit the ceiling. I didn't expect that to happen. So again, like I want to learn how to fully control the energy properly. But like if you
Yeah.
asked me a year ago if I could make a fire massive, like I would be, yeah, sure. So I'm not yet where I can just do whatever whenever. I have
Right.
times when it comes to me and I was like, oh wow, I can utilize it. And I'm sure that I can activate it myself. And that's what I am working on now to get better and better at, to activate these things on my terms.
Well, and to me, I mean, you're kind of describing the hero's journey because you're moving forward with a lot of this self-examination and giving yourself these challenges to make you not only do all those things you want to do, but in learning on how to control that energy, that's self-discipline. That's freaking, making yourself a better person. And and uh, and this is something that I go over with my significant other all the time, making yourself that better of a person. You are a better person because you are holding yourself to this excellence, this higher ideals. And that, again, the planet isn't doing this. We're not doing this as a civilization or as a culture. We are its lowest common denominator. It's, we used to be rising tide raises all boats. Now it's a race to the bottom. This is, you and I are addressing this mindset change for humanity to where we are trying to make not only the world a better place, but it starts with you. It starts with within, right? I mean, if you want to make the world a better place, you got to change yourself, right? And you are doing that hard work. And that's something, I think that, it does point to, the archons and the freaking, whatever races out there that are different from the human beings or whatever we are. Were we created to be, work, to work in the gold mines of the Anunnaki, or, were we created as like Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden? Well, there's evidence that both of those there's a lot of truth to both of those.
Yeah.
So dialogue with the ruling class. We can skip to the next slide unless you've got any questions. Do you want to add anything else?
I used to do health coaching a lot. And one thing I always had people do was mindset work. And I call it change your mind, change your life. And
sure.
Sometimes, and this is just a very simple example, like sometimes I talk to people that are kind of like a little bit about the conspiracy or whatever. And they always say, everybody thinks I'm so weird. No, you think you're weird. No, you think you're weird. I don't think anybody thinks I'm weird. I never get the sense that anybody thinks I'm weird. When I'm out and about and engaging with people, I get no sense of rejection or anything from people because I don't think that. And I don't, I'm not saying that there aren't people out there that think we're weird, but if you walk around thinking these things about yourself or whatever the hell it is, like, I don't know, whatever you focus on, that's what you're going to see. If you think you are weird or you think about that, now you're going to think everybody thinks you're weird. If you go walk around thinking that your nose is ugly, everybody you meet is going to think your fucking nose is ugly. But they don't actually. It's you. Like, you just have to stop. Like, just change that.
You're speaking to anorexia right there. You're speaking to, there's that one movie star who was in Ferris Bueller's Day Off and Dirty Dancing, Jennifer or something or other. And I know when she used to look in the mirror, she used to think, oh, my nose, my nose, my nose, my nose, my nose, right? But that's what gave her character. And then she went and had her nose job. So she would think in her own mind, oh, now I'm beautiful. Now I have a nose that will be accepted. Well, then her nose and how different she was made her that unique character that put her in demand. And then when she looked like everybody else, her freaking career I think she had a hard time getting work for a while, And I wish her, I'm not ripping on her. I'm just, this is what happened to her, right?
Mm-hmm. I mean,
do you see how that correlates with what you were saying?
Yes, but I also think it's like this. If you, let's say you're that person, like I had this thing when I was younger. I thought my ears were so big. I always thought so. They're not, I mean, they're not tiny. Either way. And I would think about it and I would always try to hide it. And then my hair, they would always like stick through the hair. I don't care now. I keep my hair up all the time and I just let them be there because caring. You know what? They're a part of me. Their character, whatever it is, what it like. I don't think when I look myself in the mirror, I no longer look at it and think it looks weird. So I
Right.
don't, it's just whatever you're focusing on, that's what you're gonna see. You're probably also gonna walk around seeing everybody else's weird ears. I don't know.
Sure.
You just have to like
Well,
put your focus on what matters and stop putting focus on things that doesn't matter. I used to, before I started training MMA, I used to do bodybuilding. It's all about what the body looks like, right? That's all you care about. Every little inch matters. And I'm glad I did it. I don't think it's a bad thing. Since I came here, I care absolutely not at all what I look like. I don't look in the mirror even every day. I don't think. That's why sometimes
yeah, I mean,
break
boy,
I just
mirrors are, there's a whole different rabbit hole we could
oh
talk
that's
about with the way.
Joel's video I told you about. He's covering everything. Everything. We even did a clip here of me the other day in the mirror. I just think that because we were so focused on it, we couldn't get my other hair to change. But with the paper and all the things, yeah,
Yeah, it's crazy.
gotta do
It's
it right.
crazy.
You definitely look like a completely different person though. And
Who?
me in the mirror. We put the paper, and then when you really think about it, how can the mirror see all the things that are behind and way back there? How can it
Oh, I
see
know.
cover the mirror? It shouldn't, right? How does that make sense?
Exactly.
Like I'm standing
Exactly.
while Joel is recording me, and I was like, Joel, how is it that I can see the bookshelf? So the mirror is here, and the bookshelf is like right in front of them, like in the same line as the mirror. How is that
Right.
bookshelf and everything on it in the mirror?
Yeah.
Like
Exactly.
it's not. It's behind the mirror. Like it doesn't even
Right.
make any sense, right?
It's yeah, it's so odd, and I had never, I had never really thought about it until, I mean, very recently.
Uh huh.
But it's like, I mean, Maaxx, we live. This place is unbelievable. It's magical,
Yeah.
and it could be what I'm, pleading to the listeners and anybody who will, listen.
Mm-hmm.
Let's redesign this place to where it's more fun, more exciting, more inclusive. Where I mean, I don't want it to be utopia because I don't. I think it's you've still got to earn your place in the society. I mean, and it has to be something that it can't be just given to us, but we've got to fight for making this place a lot better than it currently is. So
And
good segue to this next part.
everybody can do something.
Exactly.
It's kind
Exactly.
of like this a good example. When I was young, my mom would always tell me to recycle. She said, Maaxx, you have to recycle. And I would always
Oh
say,
boy.
why does it matter? Because nobody else does. So, like, if nobody else does it, like, it doesn't matter if I do it either. So, I'm just not going to do it. But, like, she has a good point, right? Because it starts with you. If you're going to think, like, nobody else is doing anything, so I'm not going to either. How is anything ever going to change if you think like that?
Right. Exactly. Well, yeah,
All the things.
yeah. And again,
No trash, no.
we're kind of repeating ourselves because, if you want to start changing something, change yourself first.
Yep.
But here's the other thing. We've been sold a bill of goods about recycling. You used to separate your plastics and stuff and then your other garbage over here. They were just sending it to China. There was, I
Yeah.
mean, like less than 10%
So
of all that stuff is
here for
recycled.
a fact they don't recycle. Like we in New
Right.
Mexico, they don't recycle. We know that.
Right.
In Sweden, I mean, they had those freaking container things everywhere. Everything had to be separated. That's just an example. I just mean what I responded to my mother was nobody does it, so why should I? And she's
Right.
right though, because if anything is ever going to change, I have to change myself. That was the whole point of the story. But yes,
Sure.
it's kind of bullshit right
Well,
now.
and that's a lesson that needs to be beaten into our heads over and over and over and over again because
Yeah.
this is the hard part, the challenge we've given ourselves by existing in this place right now. I
Mhm.
mean, if we're infinite beings, which is my contention, and
Mhm.
we are remembering that we are infinite beings and we're not just these meat suits with flesh and blood and, whatever that entails. Uh, you know, it's a joyous thing to rediscover the fact that we're all brothers and sisters. We all exist together. We've all been here for, like you said, going under anesthesia. Hey, I've been here before. Hey, I remember this place, even though it is the craziest thing you've ever experienced in your life, smoking DMT. Geez, I can't wait to do it, actually.
Oh, it is.
So,
you should just come here and do it. So I said I do want to do it one more time after I read that book. Actually, I was going to show the book again. Because I started reading this book and it's the most incredible information, and it's like, oh my god, I wish I read this before I did it. I had no clue what I was doing, and now I'm like, wow, I gotta do it again. But next time I will do it as one of my mentors told me, go out in the nature, only nature, put your feet in the water, and that's how you're gonna have a truly magical experience.
yeah.
You don't want to be around any bad energy. I certainly would not do this in a crowd unless there are truly people that you love and they're good. I would be very careful with that. Honestly, I would probably even
Sure.
completely alone, if anything.
Set and setting, baby.
Because I mean, you're not in this world. When you hit it, like, you're gone. Your eyes are closed.
Yeah.
You're not here. So whoever is around you doesn't matter.
Right. For sure.
Unless, except that you need somebody to hold the thing, because when it hits, you're gone. Like, what they're saying is, if somebody doesn't hold you, you burn yourself because you're gone like that.
Right. So let me ask you this: did you see the chrysanthemum, the spinning flower that you kind of go through?
I feel like everyone has like different experiences. So my experience was, I went in and I saw the most crazy complex pattern I can't even describe it. I wish I could put it on art. Maybe one day, I don't know. Right now, I don't even know where to start. It was almost like billions and billions of perfectly symmetric little shapes creating a massive pattern. And it was almost like the pattern was spinning, yes. And I can't tell you exactly where it spinned, in what direction, but it was all going into the middle, yes. But they weren't like
a vortex.
Kind of. I saw nothing of this world. There was nothing in my experience that was of this world. No
right.
faces, no places, no nothing. It's just color and pattern. But I felt
right.
the presence of something female. And then I at first I was like, I've been here before. And wait, this is not a good that was not a good experience. And I was like, but wait a second. But this is, And as soon as I was like, oh, but this is, everything turned green. Oh, green and blue, actually. So first it was just orange. It was literally just orange. And every single little shape had an outline in black. But everything was orange. There was no other color.
Wow.
Then everything turned blue and green. And it was the most comforting feeling ever. And same, just billions of little pieces of pattern. It was like, I can't even describe it. I don't know how to describe it. But somehow it was almost like there was 4 compartments in the pattern somehow. And I was kind of like in one of the compartments. And I felt the presence of a mandala elephant. The elephant wasn't there. I didn't see her. It was a her. I didn't see her, but I felt her. And then I opened my eyes. I think I snapped myself out of it too quick. I opened my eyes. I look around my friend's living room. I see Joel. And I was like, I need to tell him. He walks over and he was like, he said something, and I just like hugged him. I was like, oh my God, this is the best hug I've ever gotten in my entire life. And then I just look at him and I'm like trying to tell him what I experienced, but I can't speak. I'm just so happy, and like, it's just love. Like, imagine just love times billions. And he's like, I don't think you're done. He said, go lay down again. And I was like, okay. So I lay back down again, close my eyes. And at this point, my body part starts to fall. I feel my arm fall, but it's like falling and falling and falling. And it was like it fell off the couch. It never did though. I asked them and they're like, no, nothing happened. Then I felt my head fall into the couch. It was like, imagine I'm laying on a pillow and the head just like bloop, fall like that, but it would just fall, 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 fall. Like it wouldn't stop. It was
Yeah.
just
kept going.
yeah. And then either way, so I'm in again, and I was like, okay, I think I'm done. And as by the way, when I open my eyes, the entire room is full of this blue and green. So everything I'm looking at has this blue and green to it. Like Joel is green, and the couch is green, and And then I was like, okay, now I'm done. And I stand up, and I'm like, and I'm trying to tell him now what I experienced. And I was like, I can't talk. And I just walk outside, and I see our friend Skunk Phil, who had also done it, who saw clowns, by
So
the
you
way.
were able to walk right afterwards?
Here's the thing: the trip only lasts for a few minutes, and then you're back to normal. It's not anything, any other thing. Trust me. So like, I'm back to normal, but I'm in it, but I'm back to normal. It's just all this love, and you just feel the love. And I walk out and I see Skunk Phil, and I'm like, and I'm trying to tell him what I experienced, and I'm like, nah, and I just give him a hug, and I was like, I need to take my socks off. So I take my socks off and I walk around outside and just like feel the earth, And then I look at Skunk Phil, I'm like, where are the dogs? I want the dogs. And that was it. And then I went back inside, and then I can start talking. But I was like, it was just, I feel like when you come out of it, again, like, this is my experience. I don't know if others feel this, but I just felt so much love.
Everybody's experience with it is unique.
I just need to keep feeling this love. And as I'm hearing from people doing it, it's like, your only goal is really to, when you come out of it, that love you felt, never forget that.
Yeah. Well, it doesn't forget you. That's the thing. That's the universal love of the Creator that loves each and every one of us. I think that's
just, I mean, it was like every little thing I did, because I remember first Joel came, I said, he gave me a hug, and it was like, I will never forget that hug. It was the most wonderful thing I've ever felt. And then after that, I went out to Skunk Phil and I hugged him, and I was like, why does it feel so good to hug people? Like, it's, why is it feels so good to just walk on the ground?
Yeah.
Imagine around like that all the time.
So I don't know if you're familiar with dimethyltryptamine, which is what DMT is. Mm-hmm. It's first of all, it's totally prevalent in our bodies, especially in the third eye, the pineal gland, which is Laird Scranton's title of his next book that we discuss in that Reality Redesign podcast number 5 that you showed earlier, the third eye. But it's in grass, it's in all our food, it's in everything that's edible, anything organic. There's DMT everywhere. And the reason why we don't experience DMT like you did when you smoked it is because our bodies are so adept at breaking it down, so that we like oxidize it, and we human beings are amazing at processing DMT, so it doesn't affect our daily lives or whatever. But when we smoke it, and we get all that DMT at once, or when we take ayahuasca and we drink it, and ayahuasca has that ingredient in it, that anomanie oxidase. I am butchering how to say that, but the 2 ingredients in the ayahuasca brew is there's the vine of the souls, which is where the DMT and the memory of all of us exists organically, like a Library of Alexandria of everybody who's ever lived and everything that's ever been. And then there's another ingredient that was told to the shaman in South America. They dreamt it by the vine itself. The vine told them in their dreams to go get this thing that suppresses the body's ability to quickly break down DMT like it does normally. So when you drink the ayahuasca, it suppresses your body's ability to break down the DMT so that you can experience that bandwidth a little bit wider, to where you are now in touch with the spiritual realm. You're in touch with the mother goddess. You're in touch with the divine feminine. And you can, this is what you've experienced in your process that's how DMT, as I understand it, works. And are there flaws? Am I wrong about some of it? I might be wrong about some of it, but I think I'm right there.
goal has always been to do all of these things without anything, because I don't think we need anything to do this. So, and I always tell people, they're like, "Oh, you never tried anything." I don't need, I'm high on my own mind. Like, I
Right.
can put myself, I experienced what I did with DMT without it? No, I haven't. But I've experienced things, and I believe that I can train myself to experience anything. Then wouldn't
Right.
mind doing it one more time after reading that book. And I've only done it one time. I've done mushrooms once with Joel. And I mean, like, I've tried those like microdose things. I don't know. I don't really feel a difference. But we did one time where I like put, it was a bunch, right?
Right.
And yeah, it was a great experience. I don't necessarily feel like I need to repeat it.
Yeah,
I
for
did it.
sure.
It felt great, and I was like, I can do this by myself. That's how I feel about it. Then again, like, I'm not against it, and I'm also on this spiritual journey. And if there's something with these, as long as it's natural and from the nature, I am all for it. It doesn't mean I use it all. Like, I am all for people smoking real, pure, organic weed. Be my guest. I don't
Right.
necessarily like it, but please do. If it's making you better, please do. And like with the mushrooms and stuff too, like I'll probably do it sometime again when we feel like, okay, it's the right I wouldn't just do it just to do it. It needs to
Right.
be for a purpose. Like, okay, what are we doing? Where are we going? Are we, like last time we did it, we climbed a mountain. It was the most beautiful thing ever. We're just in the nature. So I feel like if I were to do it, I would want to do it in the nature.
For sure. Well, yeah. And that's a,
To me,
set
it's
and
like
setting, very
a charge
important. But
thing,
it's say
or
this, I think one of the things, I think your and I's attitude about it,
mm,
Maaxx, is that this is sacred medicine.
yeah.
This isn't for kicks and shits and grins and, have a blast and ha ha ha, and you can do that. I mean, you can do that.
It's
And there's nothing, I don't think there's absolutely nothing wrong with
can
it.
have the ha 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 on your daily basis anyway.
Sure. Because it
That's what
does
I,
enhance,
yeah.
and my little brain, my poor little bipolar sensitive brain is, it makes me, I'm a total lightweight when it comes to this stuff. And that's my problem, Maaxx, is that when I do these things, or if I smoke or take an edible, I don't smoke pot anymore because it's just, my lungs are just toast.
Have you
But,
tried real, pure, organic? Because
right, I like to do edibles, but I get higher than everybody else. And then
but
when I get higher than everybody
what
else, I try to explain
what
it to them.
those edibles?
Just cannabis,
And they don't put
sativa.
any added shit.
I don't. The stuff that I've done is, commercial packaged,
Yes, it's
made
all
by, people in the
chemical.
industry.
It's probably
So, and I lean towards doing hemp with
uh,
Delta 9 THCA, which
mm,
is the same as THC. And when you apply
yeah.
the heat, that's when it activates it.
Friend, my friend makes Delta 8 strips, so I sent it to some people. You know what? Instead of a pain medication when they're in a lot of pain. So I've tried it once, way in the past.
Cannabis is medicine, baby.
Yeah. So the Delta, like, it doesn't make you high. The ones my friend has, and I tried it once when I had a brutal, like, this is before the food technology, so I still had scoliosis pain. And I took it once, and I was like, oh, pain just went away, and I fell asleep. It was great.
Cool.
Definitely works. Yeah.
All right, do you want to let's advance through this slide. There's a couple people on here. There's Buckminster Fuller again, and Terence McKenna. But I want to read this one quote, the fourth and fifth one.
Wait, where?
Thinking on the previous to
Oh,
that slide. So the fourth one there, that's from the movie Contact, and Carl Sagan wrote that movie, and he's one of my influences on the slides over there. And it's thinking like a vegan. An alien intelligence is going to be more advanced. That means efficiency functioning on multiple levels and in multiple dimensions. And it is my contention that this is what the simulation assumptionism and reality redesign puts forth, is that we can think, we can walk, chew gum, and juggle at the same time, because that takes talent. And we're at the point right now as humanity to kind of graduate, moving forward to where we graduate from this parasitic war for profit, bamboozle the masses into thinking this, that, and the other, and kind of showing that what is really true, what is really real, what is this place, why are we here?
Mm-hmm.
Mark Twain quote, it's easier, and then this is coming from, again, my motif as the architect, but also very much Mark Twain, sense of humor, white suit. It's easier to fool the people than it is to convince them that they have been fooled. And this is where our civilization is right now. This is the thing that we are all struggling with. And that's very hard for people to grasp. What do you think about that concept?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but like with all this information coming out there, also people don't like to admit that they were wrong. So, like, for example, just take the COVID vaccine. I'm sure, okay, some people are like, oh, shit, I shouldn't have done that. Okay, let's see what I can do now. And then some of them are still going.
Nanokinase.
People.
Nanokinase.
Yeah, that it wasn't that bad because they freaking did it. I'm not going to say that I did the wrong thing, right?
True. So, Bill Hicks down at the bottom with a cigarette in his mouth. Just life is just a ride. It's, that's the one of the lasting things. Don't worry, don't be afraid ever. Life is just a ride. And that's like you put fear to bed. Put fear in its place, put fear to bed.
Just run on fear.
Right. So, top 13 tenets, let's roll through them.
Mm-hmm.
After every tenet I get done, feel free to interrupt, toss in some questions or statements or whatever you want to chat about there. So 13, the eternal mathematical principles of nature. This is the Fibonacci sequence and Goldie ratio of how, everything grows, weather systems move, plants, trees, the way our lungs and even the design of our bodies. Here's something interesting. If you take the Fibonacci sequence, the first 8 numbers are 0. And how you get the Fibonacci sequence, and I'll explain that to you real quick, is you take the first 2 numbers that exist and you add them together, and that gives you the third number. So the first 2 numbers are 0 and 1. So 0 plus 1 equals 1. So then 1 plus 1 equals 2, 1 plus 2 equals 3, 2 plus 3 equals 5, 5 plus 3 equals 8.
I'm a 369 girl, so
that's Tesla, and that's a totally different thing. This is more, you're talking about energy. I'm talking about physical manifestation in the flesh.
I just mean,
type stuff.
Do that all the time, everywhere. Just
for
merge
sure
numbers together, and you got the number.
And they go back. Everything goes back to 9. When you add all that stuff, sure. But this is like different levels of how things. You're talking about more the crown chakra and the brain chakra. I'm talking more like the lower chakras of how we physically manifest into the physical form. So the way the Fibonacci sequence manifests in the body is you've got 0 with the head, then you've got 1 with the torso, 1 with the hips, 2 sets of arms and legs. So the arms is a set and the legs is a set. That's 2. Then for each limb, you've got 3 bones. You've got the upper arm, the lower arm, and then the hand, or the the femur, and then your bottom level of your leg, and then your foot, and then you've got 5 digits on the end of each thing. And this is like we were made in God's image and likeness. This might be why we are being bamboozled by those creatures you say that exist in different realms, that they're like the models of like the early models, and we're like a later model that they it runs a little bit better. So let's treat them like shit and be mean to them and take advantage of them and all that other stuff, and I think we have to be but it's like the design of a spider. Just think if spiders were all of a sudden the size of trucks. I mean, we would be walking around in absolute horror with these creatures that have been around for billions of years with 8 eyes and fangs and fur and 8 legs and all this stuff. They've been around since the dawn of time. I respect anachronids. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right or not, but I really, I mean, I think that they perceive reality on a different wavelength, and I talk to them when I see them. If I run into a big one, like into,
What would it be like to be a spider for a day?
oh my God.
Very curious to know. Or just
And
any,
you weave
honestly, any animal.
they're parasitical. They weave their webs to capture things, to suck their blood. I mean, it's like, this is what my contention is that existence that's all existence knew that's nature for billions of years. And we're like graduating out from that as a society, as a civilization. And that's just, again, these are just concepts that, they hurt my head to think about them. Jesus, thinking about this type of stuff, this is God realizing or knowing or coming into knowing that it is the divine creature that, the divine oneness has always been, always existed. And that's a tough concept to grasp. So Fibonacci sequence and golden ratio, that's, all is number, Aristotle, that's kind of nature's way of showing us, hey, we've kind of figured out how to exist in a good fashion, and we should adopt those. It's my contention we should adopt those and merge that type of thinking in the way we treat each other and the way we operate as a society, as a civilization, as a culture. Your thoughts?
I agree with you. I don't
Cool.
have
Let's move.
You're very in depth here. I don't really have anything to add to it.
Yeah, I know. I put a little bit of thought into this. Okay, so the number. Let's
breakdown of the Fibonacci sequence. I didn't know that that's where it come from with the parts.
Right.
I didn't know that part.
Well, there's, if you look on YouTube for Fibonacci sequence and golden ratio, there's a lot of stuff on there that's kind of suppressed. They didn't teach this in school, or at least they didn't when I was, but I went to Catholic school. Why didn't they teach this in math or in science? You know what I mean? It's like, and people, they just don't hear about it unless they do their own research. You know what I mean?
People can,
because I don't think there's there's so much material out there now on it, and what you're kind of like, where really the Fibonacci sequence manifests itself is in the design of our big ears, right? You and I and our big ears, because it's that shape, it's that curve. You know what I mean?
Got big ears. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. All right, let's move on to the number 12 here real quick. So artificial intelligence, everything is remembered already. So this is like with World Economic Forum, and you the mark of the beast, and you want to put a chip in you or whatever, so that it'll make it for your convenience and ease of purchase and all this stuff. No, it's all about control. And the thing is with this goes to the mandate of the vaccine, touches upon this type of stuff. And how far can we push society? Well, this is where, this line in the sand has been drawn, at least for me. But if you think you're going to get away with something because you're talking in secret, you're not. Because like every grain of sand, every blade of grass, whatever your conspiracy theory you're concocting, being the ruling class, and you think you're getting away with it, you ain't.
Nope.
You ain't.
We think, well, me and Joss actually did an episode on the AI and transhumanism and everything. Like, I believe that what's gonna come is people either ascend, as in doing work on yourself, becoming more spiritual, understanding energy, or the lazy fuckers. I said I compare them with a person who rather have surgery than work out. They're gonna microchip in, and then yes, you are gonna have all of these cool powers, but are they actually yours though? Because you're not controlling them. Somebody else is in control of you.
Right. For sure.
And then
all right, number 11.
About it.
The brain is not a hard drive. The brain is a Wi-Fi DVR device. So this goes to the signal of consciousness itself. If your TV's broken and you can't get any channels anymore, that doesn't mean the channels don't exist.
Yep.
So, and this goes to our bodies being an avatar. So if let's say I get, let's just, so anybody who has Alzheimer's, okay, it's not that they can't, their brain can't tune in where the memories exist anymore, because that's the way our brains work. Our brains, if you have a concussion injury, you can heal yourself if you do the exercises and work your brain. You can always heal these things. The powers that be want to monetize it to where, they make money off of you forgetting. I had a buddy die of early onset Alzheimer's, and one of the last things he told me, to where I could understand him, is that he was trapped in his body and he saw and knew things the way they were supposed to be. It's just that when he would try to articulate it and it would come out his mouth, that's when the garble happened. That's when he couldn't write his name. He couldn't function. He couldn't, eventually he couldn't feed himself, and he, was basically became an invalid before he passed on. He was 55 when that happened.
Actually, I want to
that's
video. So this isn't Alzheimer's, this is dementia, but I think some people have seen it. But this man was using our Acemannan technology, so I just want to throw this one in because it's pretty.
Love it. Love it.
Had dementia, and it brought its memory back within a couple of weeks.
There are a lot of diseases out there that they told you is irreversible. For example, this one.
Brought its memory back, brought its memory back, brought its memory back, dementia, brought its memory back within a couple of weeks.
Also, my own condition, this joint.
Don't need to listen to that one, but yep, we have 14 days. This apparently her dad has not remembered anything for I don't know how long, and that day he was just walked out, and I remember there was another person there too, and he just looked at her, oh hi there, and just said her name, and everyone just looked at him like,
right. Well, what's happening in the brain is it's like a plaque that is basically, it's, a diet there. I've seen the videos on, YouTube and the ads and all the other kind of garbage, but they're calling it dementia, like diabetes type 3.
Yes,
because it is caused by the same thing. It's caused by too much sugar, and all that other kind of processed foods, 100%. This, that, and the other. And go ahead.
No, I said like everything else. Everything is caused by the shit they pump into you. And actually about the vaccines, I had a guy on my live. This is a pretty long time ago, but he used to work for Big Pharma. He ended up leaving, and I asked him, why did you start working there in the first place? He said, I was born with a condition. I wanted to cure my condition. Okay, cool. That makes sense. So I said, well, so
they don't want the cure.
No, but wait. I'm getting to the point here. So I said to him, well, we started talking about different diseases. And then the funny thing is, when you start doing research of the first ever discovery of a disease, take any disease, I don't care what you pick, whatever you have, and then you research what vaccines they released that year. Hey, just saying. You might find some goodies there. And then tell me how all these diseases are not related to Big Pharma bullshit. They release it, suddenly we have a new disease. Not
exactly.
Specifically, but a lot of them go back to years. Well, oh my God, we just discovered this new disease. Okay, they released 4 vaccines that year. So people need to start taking vaccines and medications and crap.
Well, Bill Gates quote, he's like, "Oh, vaccines has been one of the most profitable things I've ever invested in."
Yeah. So because they're creating disease that you now need a vaccine for.
Exactly.
So these people you say, I used to work in marketing, or I still do, but I worked in marketing in 24 years. And one thing we always say is, don't try, ask your customer what they need. So I come to you, I said, hey, Blake, how do you fit? Is there anything going on with you? Maybe say, hey, Maaxx, I have a lot of headaches. Oh, cool. Let me find a solution for this headache. But that's not what Big Pharma does. They're like, but let's create a problem because we have a really good product here. So let's create a problem so everybody now needs our product. So they're kind of thinking backwards in the marketing aspect here. They're not asking you what you want. They're just giving you problems, and then, I have a solution for you.
Yeah, exactly. Well, yeah. And again, this is the, in regards to reality redesign, this parasitical like business model of, leeching off the energy and the physical health of human beings. So, I'm frozen. I just lost you.
Oh, no, you're back.
Okay. So yeah, it's about this parasitical business model that needs to change. We need to evolve past, where we're farming, but it's, I say it's easier said than done, but someone's got to start articulating it.
Well,
And
here's
that's
everything.
what I'm trying to do.
Things that matter in life are not supposed to be easy. And it's only hard
Yeah.
if your mindset, if you decide it's hard. Somebody said, "Oh my God, you just left Sweden just like that with no plans. That is so hard." I didn't see it that way. I just fucking did. Like, I didn't think it was hard. Same, I go to the gym and train really hard. But if I went into the gym every day and told myself, "Oh my God, this is so hard. I don't know if I'm gonna do it," then I'm not gonna do it.
Right. For
I don't
sure.
care if
Okay. Next slide.
some people, if somebody's sick, stop fucking saying all the time that you have this darn disease. Just stop it. Like,
Right.
it's never gonna go away if you keep reminding yourself that everything's wrong with you.
You know what? That's completely true, and it's very difficult. And some people are, like I'll tell you what, a comedian that just passed, or he passed a little while ago. He was the guy on Saturday Night Live. He used to do Weekend Update. Revered and loved. Oh, I can't remember his name, but he died of cancer, and no one even knew he was sick.
Yeah.
So, McDonald. I can't remember his first name. It'll pop into my head because that's how consciousness works. Norm McDonald. See, there you go. I
haven't
put it out there, and there it came back. And the brain is a Wi-Fi. It's not a freaking hard drive.
I've been in this country for a decade, and I barely ever had a TV.
Yeah.
So I don't really.
Well, but everybody knows somebody. It's like you ask them how they're doing, and it's like, oh, I got this, and I got ailment and ailment and ailment. But this guy, nobody even knew he was sick, which was a testament. It's like that kind of stuff. You want to keep things in the positive, no matter what life throws at you. So this next tenet number 10, and this is the first 4 tenets, which are 13 to 10, kind of deal with the structure of consciousness, how it works, and the nuts and bolts of how things are set up in the physical realm that we inhabit. And language is the code that programs consciousness itself, that speaks exactly to what you were just talking about if you're sick, stop talking about it, put yourself to work on, placebo cure or whatever, do the things.
Your body doesn't know if you lie to it. So sometimes it's okay to lie. It's okay to lie to your body and tell your body it's healthy, even when it's not. It's okay to lie to yourself like that.
Well, that's what, that's motivation, and, fake it till you make it, and this, that, and the other. And, that's a part of my, a new business model that has absolutely nothing to do with these top 13 tenets. Actually it does, but I'll kind of get into that. I'm launching it on the equinox, which is in 3 days. I should be working on it right now, but I'm going with the flow and talking to you because this is important, because this needs to get out there as well. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So, let's focus on the better, and it will be so. It's kind of like the, everything we've ever thought of, everything that exists that man has built in this realm was once just an idea. Mm-hmm. So that's what the language, we shape this reality. We have the power to shape it to whatever we want it to be. So that's tenet number 10. These next 5 deal with what human beings can do with this, with the next portions of reality redesign. So number 9 is regulate, monetize, and ritualize all mind-altering substances, right? So our culture should build them into the design and ritual of becoming, full-grown men and women, and a functioning adult with professions, teachers, and shaman that embed and mark the important points in the growth of each human being by their own freedom of choice. So you can opt out and stuff, but there's, most of this stuff should be something that you graduate to starting with, the Jews already kind of do it with bar and bat mitzvah. You're 13 years old, you're reaching puberty. You've already kind of got, and 13 is a Fibonacci number. They might have some things already kind of figured out in that regard, That's what's embedded throughout this whole reality redesign process, is that, the mathematics and numbers of nature. And I think that the stuff like DMT, you should graduate to where, and you should be educated before you are able to partake in that. It should be something like, it's a direction you, just like I did with my acid trip when I was 16. I chose to do that, right? I wanted to do that. I conspired to do that with some friends, not because we wanted to party, because we weren't drinking. I mean, we were there to experience it, to know what it's like to, see this kind of a higher realm. And we were rewarded accordingly, because it's been a positive experience, I think, for the majority of us moving forward. Do you have any thoughts before we move on to number 8?
It's perfect.
Cool. All right, number 8. All money, banking, and earnings are governed by the mathematics of nature. I'm just going to read this. Greed is a good motivator, but human nature and beings ourselves need to be governed, plain and simple. The mathematics of nature, the Fibonacci sequence and golden ratio, can be used to govern how money is divided, awarded, distributed, and grown productively. Adhering to these structures of nature actually governs our judgment. So we can't be greedy, I'm going to take all the money for myself and pay my workers little to nothing. Well, you're violating the governing laws of mathematics in regards to how money should be awarded and distributed. In conjunction with the Mandelbrot set, which is that thing at the very beginning I showed you.
Yes.
It's in the visualization of quantitative data right before the dialogue with the ruling class. Anyway, we don't have to go back to it. Actually, it's in the background here. If you see this, the teal background there, that's kind of the muted Fibonacci sequence.
Video before, I'm going to add it in the caption.
Right, that's the muted Mandelbrot set. This provides a lattice upon which the guardrails that channel any money industry, taking greed and human nature and flaws out of the picture. A good analogy for that, it's the Christmas tree you hang the ornaments on that are your culture. So the nature part is the tree, and then that's the lattice where you wrap your garland, you have the bulbs, all those different things represent different events, different, ways things flow, and you can decorate it however you want. There's endless repetition on how all this can work. All right, let's move to number 7, unless you've got any questions.
Let's go.
All right, communism, socialism, and capitalism. Multiple revenue streams and systems. Now, I'm just taking those 3 because that's 3 everybody knows. You've got to pick. Right now, Russians, quote unquote, communist, and then Europe is socialist, and the United States and the rest of the Western world is capitalist. Well, why are we assigning ourselves just those? But we can be either one or the other. I'm saying, and this falls along the line of Gödel, Escher, Bach, The Eternal Golden Braid, which is a book by Douglas Hofstadter. I don't know if you know, we can put that in the chat at the end. Gödel, Escher, Bach, The Eternal Golden Braid.
Sorry.
Gödel was a mathematician. Escher, MC Escher, was the artist who did all kinds of crazy drawings with it just in pencil.
Name of the book, you ever just I don't know what.
Gödel.
Gödel.
Godel.
Godel.
Yeah, Escher. It's right there in the second bullet. Gödel, Escher, Bach, and then Bach's the musician.
Yeah.
So it's mathematics, music, and art.
Okay, yeah, I found everything. This one, right?
That's it, right there. GEB. Yes. Douglas Hofstadter. Big influence on me. I read that when I was in college. And it's why I do my name blakeArt in brackets, because that's how, the Mandelbrot set, it's set within sets within sets, decision within decision within decision. This is how consciousness, ones and zeros, left, right, uptown, backwards, forwards. This is how we maneuver within this realm.
Mhm.
And we can pay ourselves from birth to death. That's communism. We can pay ourselves by our profession and our different environments we exist in. That's socialism. Then we pay ourselves by our merit and how well we do our job, and how we rank ourselves rank our performance, and that's capitalism. And that, like, take baseball. When you're born into becoming a professional baseball player, you're paid a rookie salary, and then if you're in the league 10, 15, 20 years, your salary goes up exponentially as you stay in the league. Then socialism is you get paid by how your team performs year after year after year. So that's, you're getting paid as a group with the guys who are on your team and how your team performs. Then the capitalistic part is the individual statistics. When you're a baseball player, did you drive in a lot of runs? Did you get a hit when you came up to bats? How many home runs did you hit? The Triple Crown. So this is how society. Now, baseball players don't get paid like that, right?
Yep.
But that example, I wrote a blog post about it. I'll send you the link. This is how they should pay baseball players. thestructureofthought.com. So,
Baseball,
or blame blakeArt.
the whole other conversation, because
Oh my God, this is my problem. This is my problem.
Distractions and rituals, and it's only created for people to get. I mean, they get hypnotized. I don't understand sports. I don't watch it. I mean,
Right.
I consider MMA and sport. I consider it a meditation. I used to play tennis when I was young, which I guess is a sport. I never understood how people could watch that shit, though. I'll do it for exercise and that's it. I do understand. Like in Sweden, we watch soccer. Is there anything more stupid? Like, what? You're a grown ass person and you're gonna watch another grown ass person running around kicking a ball? How does this make you a better person? I actually did a post on X once, and it got a lot of turbulence. So I have a friend of mine, their family is huge into Super Bowl. It's like sacred for them. And that's
right.
But I made a post and I said, did you watch Super Bowl yesterday, and how did it make you a better person? That's like, you can, if you were a person that could just think a little bit, you would say, you know what? I get to spend quality time with my family and friends that I haven't seen in so long, and we really connected and we had the most amazing time. Wonderful.
Right.
Beautiful. Do you think that's what people commented on this post? There was a war on this post. A fucking war.
I'll have to check it out.
I never told anybody that they did something wrong. But I then, after the conversation continued, I said, did yesterday's Super Bowl make you a better person, or were you one of those people who stuffed your face with shitty food and alcohol and woke up today feeling bad about yourself? Because then you didn't do it for the right reason, and then you probably shouldn't be fucking doing that. Because that's the thing. They're pushing people to eat shit, drink alcohol, and then you wake up today feeling like a misery. Like, now you probably regretted doing all of that shit. And I was like, how? I don't understand. And I called my friend because it was a war. And I called my friend and said, hey, did you see my post on X yesterday? She's like, yeah, I totally did. I said, did you feel offended about that somehow? She's like, no. I was like, exactly. Why? You only get mad when you feel offended because you think you did something wrong. I didn't say you did something wrong. You think you did something wrong. That's why you feel bad about it. Now you're mad at me.
Well, so I love sports, and I think that sports show. Well, first of all, they're industries that put people to work. There is something to be said for entertainment. All the world is a stage, and if you look at somebody like Lionel Messi, and to a lesser degree Patrick Mahomes, quarterback in the NFL.
Anything about sports, so this is complete Greek to me.
Right. So, I'm just saying this for the viewership, is that, first of all, sports show the way there's miracles in statistics. And this is how I started thinking about all this stuff, Maaxx. And that's a story for another day, because, I got to take a bio break here soon. And I want to get through all 7 of these.
Post office and submit our last legal letters here. It's a
But anyway, I am a sports fan. I love sports. It's not my life, but I used to be you live and die by sports, but you can't take anything in life too seriously. You
Well, I
just
think
can't.
also what they've been doing these days. I mean, just look at some of these things, and then they're doing the sport. They know how many people are watching, and then they put these satanic pedophile
Yes.
killing celebrities to sing between the fights. So now you're watching it, and then they're doing a ritual about how to fucking kill babies. No.
Yeah.
And for
Yeah,
some
I
people,
agree.
feel
I
like,
agree with that, and I'm fully on board with that opinion about how
and being a
the
person who actually does saves children, I can't participate in any of these things.
right. I get it. I get that for sure. I get that for sure. So all right, let's move on to number 6. I mean, I'm right there with you on that regard. I mean, I don't understand it. I really, it's like it boggles my mind. So this is a big one. We reorder society by age, and this is the topic that comes up to reorder the working professions from. And I need to change the typo. It should be from like 20 to like 35 and 40. And what modern profession already does this? Sports. Sports, you play when you're younger. If you're really good, you can get in when you're 16, 17, 18 years old. And then by the time you're 35, 40 years old, you're basically done. But then what do? You're a teacher, you're a coach. You work in the front office, you look for talent. There's all kinds of jobs that, that sports. And so in your point about tennis, like how can anybody watch this on TV, or how can anybody watch soccer on TV, or golf, right? Well, I've played all 3 of those sports, and I know how hard they are to be good at all those sports. I know how hard it is to be good at being an MMA fighter. Okay. That's what makes it compelling. I mean, I've never boxed. I don't ever want to get hit ever. I'm a wimp. I'm a pansy when it comes to pain. Right. No, thank you for that.
Well, I mean,
But
to the body, but not to the face.
right. So, watching how difficult it is to do all those things, and then seeing people who are so good at it compete against each other. And like, I was watching a YouTube video the other day about, legendary soccer players talk about Messi. And it's like Lionel Messi. I mean, he's like, they compare him to Mozart. He's like, he's an artist. He's not just a soccer player. And it's like, he's that good, and he's going up against other best in the world athletes, and he's making them look silly because he has so much control and self-discipline. And
give me 1 second. You can talk to the people. I'm just gonna grab something quick.
Okay, go ahead. So I don't know if there are other Messi fans out there, but there are people who I watch Messi videos kind of in my spare time every once in a while, because it is just super compelling. And the guy's just got an immense amount of talent, and he's an excellent example of a humble guy. I mean, I don't know what he's like in real life. He's married. He's got a nice family. He's got 3 sons. He's just and now he plays for Miami. He plays for the Miami soccer club.
I wish I could.
And
oh, it's not focused.
what do you? Oh, is that your protein drink?
Samples. No, so it's our Acemannan technology. So we do them pure, but we do them in lifestyle products too. So I just did a brain scan. We went live yesterday and showed my brain scan. When you drink these, it takes my entire brain from red to green, and then I can focus on whatever I'm doing. I need to send you some samples. So send me your address later so I can send you some stuff.
I will. I would love to check that out.
Stem cell boosting, immune system optimizing, focusing your brain. Well, as I said, there are different products for different things, but this is what this one does. So if I drink this one now, then we've been sitting on for 3 hours. And I just trained. I trained for 4 hours before I got on here, so I was already a little like, So
well, I do have to take a bio break, but I've got I'm doing my Kliegels. So if that's how you pronounce it. So
yes.
the other thing that this Go ahead.
No, I said we'll go through these and then we can do another episode later on again because I'm sure we could go on for like 5 or more hours if we
Oh
want.
my God, we haven't even scratched the surface on what I
Yeah.
got going on in my
Mhm.
poor little brain. Seriously.
Don't call it that.
It's,
We don't talk
I
about
know, my rich, gigantic brain.
I have a Joel tells me all the time, like, every now and then you do something and you're like, oh my God, I'm so stupid. And he would just
Yeah.
look, he said, how dare you speak about yourself like that? I was like, you're right. I shouldn't.
Right, I'm in love with you, or you're
Yeah.
my person. Quit talking about my person in such a negative manner. I hate about right there. I'm right there with you, for sure. All right, let's move to. So we've got the rearrange society by age, reorder working professions to 20 to 35 to 40. Let's go to number 5, the shape of society. This is one that I think people can grasp and be like, okay, it's how we were just talking about that. It leads right into this. How do you think about yourself? How do you visualize yourself? How do you talk about yourself? Are you negative or positive? Well, one of the things that's the theme of being a human being alive is you've got to work hard to get to the top, right? So the theme of our present civilization stresses getting to the top of the pyramid as the main goal for life. Well, how much space is at the top of the pyramid, Maaxx? Not a lot. Yeah, very small. So once you're up there, you've got to keep everybody else down, right? So instead of focusing on being positive, inclusionary, impactful acts and policies.
This just popped into my head. What do you think about this? Let's say that, okay, you work your way up to the top of the pyramid. Do you need to stay there? Or what if we're just supposed to get there and then leave space for the next one?
Well, that's
like this is
if we imagine our society as a spiral, that's exactly how it works.
I competed and I won a world title, right? And people would tell me, oh, so now you have to defend your title. No, I don't. I said, I won it. I proved that I could do it. I have no need. Not to say I will never do it again. I don't know. But I don't have any need or desire to try to prove that I can do it again. I was there already. So now, okay, what else can we do? Can I do something else where I can just reach the top for a moment? I do it. I give the world what I can up there. And then I move on and leave the space for somebody else. I don't know.
Exactly.
It's into my head right now.
Exactly. So nature behaves differently, and we need to align ourselves with this principle. From the way our DNA arranges themselves to the way plants grow to the billions of stars in the sky, the spiral is the shape we should emulate in how we structure our societies and civilizations, and all kinds of other things. So those 5 tenets, 9, 8, 7, 6, and 5, are all about how we can think differently of ourselves as a society. Mm-hmm. So number 4 is kind of alone by itself, and it's about basically how consciousness is interpreted by all of us as individuals. It's not quantum physics. It's just physics in a simulation. So, in a simulation, assumptionism, right? So are you familiar with the double-slit experiment at all, with the quantum physics and all that?
The double what?
The double-slit experience. So they took this proton gun and fired protons at this, barrier that had 2 slits in it. Is that you?
Yeah, that's the babies that we oh wait, I don't know what it's doing. Yeah, there. Those are the kids. We donate when somebody buys a product of the food technology, we donate to children around the world. So we help them heal.
Wow. That's cool.
Yes.
Good for you. So yeah, that's there it is. There's the graph of it right there with the gun. See the gun shooting the protons at it, or I think either protons or electrons. I can't remember what.
I have actually, you know what? That's funny. I just saw a video about this maybe a few days ago. Yeah.
Right.
Yes. So I do know.
So basically the deal is with it is when you observe an experiment of that happening, it behaves one way. But when you ignore it and you still are measuring it behaves a completely different way. So when you are observing the particles going through the slits, it arranges itself like particles. But when you're not looking at it, it arranges itself in a wave type format. And you can see where it says next to the number 4 there, there's like an A and a B. This is the double slit experiment with the waves going through, and it's like ripples in a pond. But what does that mean? So it's like science tends to say that it only works on a micro level or down like to the quantum level, that reality arranges itself that way. My contention, as you know, the artist formerly known as blakeArt and being my own philosopher, I contend that it proves that that's the way it happens on a macro level as well. So when we observe ourselves on planet Earth in relation to the rest of the realm we inhabit in space with all the other stars and planets and millions and billions and trillions of things that are out there, we behave like a planet or a plane/T, right? So we're round, we're like a particle. But when we're sitting on a podcast talking about quantum physics, or we're driving to go get a vegan sandwich because we're healthy, or we're flying to New Zealand, right? It behaves like a wave, and it's flat. And that's the miracle of consciousness, and it's both at the same time. So if I were to ask you, is the Earth round or flat, what would you say?
Oh, we had this conversation the other day. I said, I think none of them or both.
Yes, that is the correct answer. It's both.
Okay, but that's how I found out about Qingdao, because me and my friend, I lived in Vegas back then, and he was like, hey, we got to watch this documentary. It's this guy I know, blah, blah, blah. Either way, so it's an entire documentary about
Here, switch to slide 3 while you're talking.
Earth.
Sorry to interrupt.
So they're not saying that Earth is round or flat. They're just showing evidence and just making people question things. It's a really cool documentary. Can't remember what it's called, but I'll find it.
That is the correct answer. No wonder we're on this podcast together.
Yeah.
So, because nobody else, you're like one of the first people that have answered that. It's either both or neither, and that's correct too. Because, does everything, one of the phrases I like to say all the time is nothing lasts forever. No thing lasts forever. But you spell no, K-N-O-W. No thing lasts forever. And it does. It's eternal.
This is the documentary. It's called Level With Me from 2023. So it's directed by our friend Sean Hibbler, and Joel Qingdao is in it as well.
Oh, I'd love to watch that. That's going to be in the links for the deal.
I'll email you. I'm going to email you that one, and then another video that he just did the other day about everything, about the mirrors, about everything. You guys I need to connect you guys.
I would love it. For sure.
I still feel myself as a rookie about a lot of these things. Like, I haven't been down the rabbit hole on the universe that long. I've been rabbit holing medicals like big pharma for most of my life. But really getting into the spirituality and like energy and the universe and all this, I would still consider myself like new.
So you're an expert in the health field. So I would consider myself an expert. So I'm not an expert in philosophy, even though I am my own philosopher. And the reason why is because I think I was always going to be my own philosopher. And so I avoided everybody else's, philosophy. Like Ayn Rand, I know about her, So, I'm like the opposite of her. She's more like, do what you can to be successful and take what you can get. And, if nobody else likes it, just take your shit and go to your own island and, hire a bunch of servants to take care of you. I'm more about the collective, right?
Yeah.
So, and
I would consider myself a master manifester. That's what I'm an expert at. So that's why, even though I'm new on all this stuff, I have been able to do a lot of the things. And I think that what I've been wanting to do now is apply what I am capable of doing which is why I'm progressing so quickly. And what I want to get better at is to explain or tell people in the right way. I can't just say, I just manifest things and they just happen. And people like, okay, well, how do you do it? And I can tell you how I do it. Doesn't mean it's just going to work for you. So what I do now is like, I'm trying to give, which is why I found people such as yourself that maybe can explain certain things better, because I know it works, and I know people listen to me and they're curious. Even people I know that are not spiritual at all, they're like, Maaxx, you've always, like, you never lied to me. So when you say something, I am very interested in hearing it. Like, this is
Right.
new to me. I don't know how I feel about it, but I'm super interested. So please do tell, So some people call me their little spirit mama now. I'm like, I'm just trying to help people. And I can't say that I am like an expert at teaching people, but I don't know if we're supposed to teach. Maybe I'm just supposed to be there and just share my energy and make people just open themselves and feel love. I don't know.
I think we are. I think we're supposed to help each other, teach each other, and that's why I think coaching is such a viable, profession, and why people love coaching. I tell you what, I love coaching, and I think that the world needs coaching, and that's kind of what I'm trying to do here, and what you're doing. We need to get ourselves in. We need to whip ourselves in not only good physical shape, in good spiritual shape. And I think that is the important work that you're doing, even though you think you're a novice. And I'm a novice at it too. I mean, I'm just kind of getting the ball rolling on this stuff, Maaxx.
Yeah.
For sure. So this one is simulation assumptionism is the new philosophy behind reality redesign, And if you assume this is a simulation, let's just, for sake of argument, let's assume what we are experiencing here on plane/T Earth, planet Earth, is just a simulation, which can't be proven that it's not a simulation, right? Then what does that imply exactly? And what divisive narratives does it negate if we think you and I are just avatars, but we're spiritual beings inhabiting these meat suits and skeletons? So your race, your creed, your color, your caste, where you're born, where, what strata of society you're born, your sexuality, our physical selves, even the shape of the planet, which is what we were just discussing, are called into question. And do they matter, right? Pattern in the matter, matris patris, that's Latin, mother and father. So the mother and father of all things is the pattern in the matter. This is what is given birth to all of us as human spiritual beings. This assumption opens up our consciousness and humanity itself for all kinds of freedoms to think about as new ways to be as a civilization. So all of us together, race, creed, color, religion, we're all, we're one and the same. Every leaf on a tree is different, but every leaf on a tree is the same, just like that.
All one.
We are all one. So
all one.
Next step, tenet number 2. So this is like if you want to compare it to the Beatles, this is like the single, side A and side B. This is the side B, or like the revolution. And then tenet number 1 is like, Hey Jude. So, because that's really the best thing I could compare it to. Number 2 is a ritual for a new age. And this is a piece of art I did. And it used to be called Unification. And it was back in 2004, 5, 6. But it was a poop prayer that I wrote. And you go, every time you go to the bathroom, you go in and you say it
poop prayer
when you go to the restroom. Yeah.
I was like, is that what he said? Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So, or you could say it when numero 1 or numero duo, right? So I'll just read this for you. This ritualizes the act of using the restroom, cleansing your mind and spirit of the negativity of any evil action represented by the waste you are removing from your body and flushing them down the drain physically and symbolically. Okay? Jesus taught his disciples to go into thy chamber and close thy door and pray to thy Father in secret. Well, where's the place where we are alone every single day when we've got to go to the bathroom? You know, so it's Matthew 6. You can pull this up if you want. A Bible verse, Matthew 6 verses 5 through 8. And Jesus is talking with his disciples, and they're like, okay, yeah. You've convinced us you're the Son of God, and God's your Father. So yeah, so I can't read that. Why don't you go ahead and read it? So this is what Jesus said to his disciples.
Wait, how much do you want me to read?
Read 6 verses 5 through 9.
Okay, so I've never read the Bible or anything. You have, like, I am very what
That's okay. That makes it even better.
you want me to just
Matthew 6 verses 5 through 9. Give it a shot.
You want me to read the entire page?
No, verses 5 through 9. So they're numbered. See how there's numbers at the beginning?
Okay, just that section.
So exactly.
Okay.
So that's how like the fundamentalist Christians, they're like Corinthians book 1, section 2, verse 5 through 7. You know, that's how they always talk.
A little bit of the lost books from the Bible, but I've never read the actual Bible. Okay.
Right.
And when you pray, do not be like the hypocrites, for they love to pray standing in the synagogues and on the street corners to be seen by others. Truly, I tell you, they have received their reward in full. But when you pray, you go into your room, close the door, and pray to your Father who is unseen. Then your Father who sees what is done in secret will reward you. And when you pray, do not keep on babbling like pagans, for they think they will be heard because of their many words. Do not be like them, for your Father knows that you need before you ask him. Do not be like them, for your Father knows what you need before you ask him.
That's it. So, and then the next verse is, and when you pray to thy Father, pray like this. And it's the Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. So this ritual for the New Age is said to be a complement to the Our Father, so that you pray the Our Father after you're done going to the bathroom. And then, you know, how many times do you go to the bathroom a day? You go 3, 4, 5 times a day. You pray 3 or 4, 5 times a day. What religions do that? Muslims do that. So, but instead of going to the mosque and being in a group and praying together, this is something you can do on your own in private, when you're the most intimate with your own body and cleaning yourself, right? I mean, you are cleansing your body of waste.
Yes.
That is the ritual for a New Age that this is devised in. And that's some explosive shit. Pardon the pun.
I'm not Christian.
Right.
I do believe in God, but I'm spiritual. So I don't pray, because how I see it, but I think we all do the same thing in our own ways, right? I don't pray because when you pray, you're basically asking for something that isn't here right now, right? I speak.
Yes.
It all already happened. So I do pray, but still not. And that's in that way I call it manifesting. So, like, for example, I want to save all the children in the world, right? So you would say, dear Father, blah blah blah, I want to save all the, however you want to say it, but I just say we saved every child on the planet. That's prayer. I just speak it already happened, because to me there is no other way. So that's what I think.
Greg Braden, you're talking. Do you know who Greg Braden and Bruce Lipton are?
I'm going to do a live with a very, very Christian man about this, and we're going to start comparing all the things we do, right? Because I believe, and that's why I don't understand when people get in conflict about this, because we're doing the exact same thing in our own way, but the end result is the same. So why I don't understand why you do it this way because this makes you feel good, and I do it this way because this makes me feel good. But we're all doing the same thing.
Right. It's, many pathways to the same result. I mean, I love your perspective on this. And maybe I need to change the English around in this regard. So it's more of, you are doing it in the moment. By this act, you are, this is something you are, it's already done.
But I think
you're constantly, it is a ritual. It's very symbolic. Go ahead.
But at the end of the day, the thing that is going to make it happen is for you to truly believe in it. So it doesn't, I don't think it really matters how we say it. If you pray and you know that God has your back, you know, it will happen. And if I manifest and I know it already happened, like what's the difference here? It really isn't. We both believe in the way we do it, which is why it's going to work.
Exactly. There you go. Perfect. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. All right, number one, and this is the one that's a work in progress. But again, this is the Hey Jude as opposed to the Revolution. It's time to be nice. And this is a song that was, you know how you were standing at your sink brushing your teeth and you got a download? Same thing happened to me with this. This was like a fully formed march that was downloaded into my head, but I was on an edible at the time. And that happens a lot for me because I'm able to tune into this universal goodness, right? And it's time to be nice is based upon these principles. First and foremost, we are all connected, and the point of existence is to seek knowledge about and love each other, each and every one of us, one another. In simulation assumptionism, we are all a part of the creator experiencing itself subjectively. So it's time to be nice, right? So, I mean, why be mean or be a dick or teach bullying or a prejudice or any of that stuff when we're all just freaking different models of cars that God has invented for us to drive around and have fun with, right?
You are true. If you are really mean to somebody, you're being mean to yourself. And that's why
exactly.
we're all one. And it's this, you know, you perceive whatever you feel about you is what you see in others or perceive onto others. So if you, like they say, you know, treat others like you want to be treated. Yeah, because it's you're technically, if you're treating somebody like shit, you're treating yourself like shit.
Right. Or you're super unhappy about yourself, so you got to take it out on somebody else.
Because somebody was asking me one day, somebody was commenting really badly on something I posted about a different person, and I just responded back and I said, you know, blah, 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 whatever. And this person said, Maaxx, I see you all the time talk about people doing shit you don't like. Oh, fuck babies, you mean? That's a different thing. Here's the thing. I don't judge anything. I don't give a fuck about anything. But if you fuck children and you kill animals, I cannot have any remorse for you. I'm sorry, but that's a little different.
Right.
Besides that, I don't really care. Big Pharma, all these people, they're doing really shitty things. But it's not me saying that it's just some random person doing. I mean, we're talking about people that are actually destroying humanity.
Right. Yeah. I know.
Being mean to a person on the street or social media or whatever it is.
Yeah, this is the hard thing for people to accept. And I think this is why, I mean, you know, any type of violence, any type of war, any type of harm, you know, all those people that are getting killed or that you're villainized, they have grandmas and grandpas 3 generations removed who loved them, cared for them, brought them into this existence. You know, each and every one of us is a miracle, because if you go back 10 generations, that's 4,000 something people that are responsible, or more, that are responsible for you being here now and being born from your mom and your dad, you know. And that's the thing that, you know, I think, you know, why it was the King's List that's happened, that it lists every king that goes back, you know, 250,000 years, the way reality used to be before, you know, it was redesigned to be the way it is now. We're right there at a Kali Yuga or the Treta Yuga, or in the, you know, the great, Bronze Age, Silver Age, Golden Age. You know, we're right there at the precipice of, like, how do we move forward? How do we start this process? And as, you know, an artist who's self-selected, me, who's got 2 thumbs up and is a self-selected artist, this guy, right? Terence McKenna. You know, but if the artist can't find the way, then the way cannot be found. Well, I'm here to tell you, I'll be the first artist to tell you, there are thousands and millions and billions and trillions of ways to move forward, you know.
And I think that we need to do more mental and spiritual work. And, like, back to, actually, okay, I'm saying people that hurt children. I don't think anybody's born evil. I don't think so.
No.
I think people have
learned behavior.
People have demons. And I said, I posted a while ago, I posted my own exorcism, which is why I was always wondering if I was supposed to do child trafficking missions and go out and basically take down bad people. But it was always something that told me that that is not what I'm supposed to do, which is why I'm now doing the spiritual work to be able to eventually, I'm in training, I have class today, astral travel, where we can go in the spiritual realm, and basically the
Right.
end goal is with it is to be able to kill demons. Because
Right.
if there's a person here that does evil things to children, I don't think this person was just born to do that. I don't think so. Does some of these people need to be actually taken down? Yeah, I do believe so. I don't think that's what I'm supposed to do, though. I think I'm supposed to fight the war in the spiritual world.
Yeah, I agree, and like begets like, and evil begets evil. That's like, if you're molested, then you're going to be a molester. It's that, and some of us get lucky. I mean, there's a joke a comedian wrote, is like, yeah, I went to a Catholic school and there was a bunch of kids that got molested. Well, I never did. Well, what was wrong with me? How come I didn't get? How come, was I not good enough to be? Was I not cute enough? That kind of a deal, And you've got to find humor. I mean, that's macabre humor, of course,
Yeah.
right? And
I'm like,
that's not my joke. I didn't write that joke. That's somebody else's.
that's why
But
I'm very anti. And again, like, that is actually one reason why I never read the Bible, because, and I don't think so. But when I grew up, I just associated everything, God, Bible, everything was all religion to me. And I am
right.
so against that. Fast forward now. Yeah, I think differently now. I could definitely read it. I said I got the lost book from the Bible, but it
Well,
was.
they censored the Bible. There's the lost teachings of Jesus. There's all these books that were left out of the Bible.
Mhm.
And a lot of those books that were left out teach that way to pray, how you manifest. They took all that stuff out of the Bible.
Yep.
So we're a little bit more easier to control. And we, when you go and you are like, oh, please give me money. Oh, please give me health. Oh, that's not the right way to do it. You have to, in your mind, this is Greg Braden and Dr. Bruce Lipton and all this other kid stuff. You pray as if you've already received.
Because I believe too, if you're praying like, please give me money, please give me money, and then you don't get it, you're like, shit, I'm a bad
I
person.
didn't pray hard enough.
Wrong.
Right. Yeah, the fact that you and I are on this podcast together is just evidence of our mutual success. I mean, we are, both of us now are on the path of what we're, our true calling, what we're supposed to be doing. I mean, I can paint this type of art with the brush and pretty pictures and stuff, but it stresses me out, and because I have such high expectations for myself. However, I'm going to start painting again because I've changed my mind. When you say, I've changed my mind about that, that is physically, emotionally true. You actually do, your mind does actually physically change. And that's the beauty of English, even though English has a lot of, that's why they call it spelling, is a quote from my podcast with Laird Scranton. But, the way we articulate it is the language that codes reality itself. And that's what you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
That's why you're the manifestation master.
Yes.
That's
what
how that all works.
Well,
Hey, it's 5:36.
Yes. Let's I gotta start preparing for astral class here.
Oh my God, that's great. Well, I took an astral class in college.
Yeah.
So, and I've had plenty of astral dreams.
Save that one for later. I want to hear about that.
Yeah, for sure. And look, we started out with 7 viewers in Twitter, and now we've got 10.
Oh, but it's not accurate. Yeah, that's just X. My main platform is Rumble. X,
right?
Because Rumble is, we have a whole collection of comments. I won't actually see the total number of viewers until we actually get off.
Okay.
And then I will tell you. Now, none of the numbers in here are accurate. You can't even see.
Oh, okay.
You see, like, there's like one comment in the live stream. Ecamm needs to step their shit up, please. Ecamm, upgrade yourself so all the platforms actually get merged into the platform and not just one. Because we're streaming 6 platforms right now.
Right. That's amazing that you're doing that.
Yeah, so I said you're only seeing X. X is not the main one. It's on Instagram, it's on Facebook, Kick, Rumble, YouTube, and X. It's all of them at the same time.
I've never even heard of Kick.
It's some kids thing. I don't even know. It's just that I can do 6 platforms, so I just added an extra whatever. Because why not?
Yeah, for
But I
sure, for
might
sure.
actually see if there's another one that is better if somebody knows. There's some new app called Bigo or something that doesn't do any censoring, but I don't know if Bigo works in Ecamm yet. But so I'm thinking about maybe swapping Kick for something else, because I think Kick is more for like, it's like kids that play video games and stuff.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't
Got
know.
it. Got it. Well, can I give my contact information that you can put
Yeah,
down? Anybody there,
whatever
you can go
you
to the.
give her. So your his website link and everything will be in the caption. And
Okay.
whatever else you want me to put there, you just let me know.
All right. I'll email you.
Yes, perfect.
Beautiful.
Whatever you
Hey,
want.
this has been a
Yeah,
pleasure, and thank you so much for this first opportunity. I'll have you on my podcast, and
hell yeah.
we'll talk about whatever you want to talk about.
Let's do it.
This
And
has
then we'll
been great.
do astral travel talk next time.
Or dreams. I'm a
Oh,
tremendous dream
oh
interpretation.
my, wait, really? Because
Yeah, oh yeah.
we could probably do a whole episode and I tell you about my dreams, because I didn't used to remember my dreams, and then I started drinking pure gold from Hawaii. I dream in colors and smells, and like it's the trippiest thing ever. And every
Yeah,
night I'll have like 10 different dreams, and I
yeah.
remember the textures. And now the last few weeks, my dream, like I am finding other dimensions within the reality. So like the other day I was in my apartment, and as I'm walking around in the apartment, I find things that should not be able to be there. So I walk into my bedroom, and in my bedroom there's another room and another room and another, like it never ends.
Right.
And they shouldn't be able to be there unless you go to a different dimension, because they wouldn't fit, because I'm walking into the first room, but it's not, but it's like just looping. It's really interesting. And usually the rooms have different smells and stuff too. Like I'll remember
Well, I
the
mean,
smells.
all that stuff. I mean, everything in your dreams is really a symbolic representation
Yes.
of what the hell's going on, and what your brain needs to do, and how it needs to like process your
Okay,
day and all that other stuff.
dream interpretation live stream next time.
All right, let's do that. That sounds like a lot of fun.
Because I started, actually, I don't do it every day now. I started documenting my dreams, but it got so detailed. I was like, I don't have time for this. I'll spend 2 hours writing
Oh
down.
my God, I used to have an illustrated dream diary. I would draw them. Oh,
Yeah.
that's where a lot of my artwork comes from.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, and you can see my artwork on my website, www.realityredesign.com, reality-redesign.com. You go to portfolio, and that's all my artwork that I've got listed there. I'm going to add some new pieces. I've got some new pieces that I'm
Yeah.
going to add. So they've got home, portfolio,
I need to
top
get
13 tenants.
I need to get something from you and have on my wall. Did I tell you that
For
everything
sure.
on my wall is either made by me or somebody I know? So
I'd love it.
look at
I'll
it.
send you. There's one called Realize Oxygen. I think it's my
Uh-huh.
first one.
Yeah.
I can send that to you in a tube because it's a print.
King of Procrastination. I like that one. That's cool.
Oh, that's one of my three. There's Journey to My Ancient Lesson, which we went over in the thing.
Oh,
King
actually,
of
come say hi to Blake. We're on live stream still, but you guys need to meet and talk. This is a genius.
Hey, what's up, man?
Spiritual genius.
What's his name?
King Bao. I'm gonna send you his
Hey,
video.
King Bao, how are you, buddy?
Hey, good to meet you, man.
Good to meet you too. I'm the artist formerly known as BlakeArt.
Oh, okay. Beautiful.
Send you his stuff. Okay, perfect. Yes, I'll connect you guys later.
Cool.
Now I'm gonna get off.
Have fun of your astral thing, and
Yes.
keep me posted on that.
I will.
All right.
Thanks
Thanks.
so
Thank
much.
you so much, Max. It was fun. See ya.
Bye. Okay, guys. Wow, that was 3.5 hours. And I'm going to jump off because I got to start preparing for Astro class, which is one of my favorite things in the week now. And let me just check a couple of comments here. There are bad people hiding. Oh, that one I already read. Blah, blah, blah. Looks like they're getting away with it. They're walking around like they did nothing evil. Diana, trust me, we're working on it. Just stick around, my friend. I don't know if you're a new follower. I don't recognize your name from the other streams. But if you're a new follower, just stick around. We have a lot of information. You can also go check out my other lives on Rumble, and also King Bao on Rumble. You can find a lot of good information. And yes, a lot of things are coming. Just wait. If any of you guys want to come and get some Acemannan, so we donate the Acemannan to children. We're about to go to Mexico soon and meet some of the kids again. If you guys either want to just use the product for yourself, rebuild your immune system, increase your stem cell production, just have a body that can heal itself, you can go to nobloatclub.com and click on Acemannan. You can shop. For every order or every serving sold, we donate the serving to a child. Or if you are passionate and you actually want to work with us, please hit me up. We're taking on people. Anyone can do this. Anyone can sign up and be an affiliate or business partner with us and work on the mission to eradicate childhood malnutrition. So the goal is, there are many goals, but the first goal is that when we have how many people? I want to say there are about 7 million children every year dying from malnutrition. When we have 3 million people on the product actively taking 2 servings or more every day, we have effectively eradicated childhood malnutrition from the planet. So that's the first goal. And trust me when I say we have a lot of servings donated already. It's incredible. So here you can also go to nobloatclub.com is easier. I have the link that way, but you can see here all the servings donated so far. We have 58 million servings donated. It's actually more because they didn't launch this website until later on. So the serving donation is probably, I'm going to say probably the double of this, but either way. So this is the main product, Immune. This is what we donate to the children as well. And you guys have probably seen the video of me when I was in Mexico last year. I'm not going to play the whole thing right now, but we went to meet them. It's called Mighty Milk. So they basically mix the Acemannan into this milk, and these kids are eating or drinking it, and then they rebuild their immune systems, even though they are, they're probably very poor. A lot of them don't have parents. They're either orphans, or we also work with hospitals with kids with disabilities, and we give them this and they can start to heal. So they said the average of disease or sickness in these children has gone from about 30 times a year to 2, and the orphanages we work with that had children dying every year have no children dying. So it's pretty incredible. You guys can join and work with us and be a part of it. It's amazing. You could make it your full-time job, or you could just do it as a little side thing and do good for humanity. It's honestly whatever you want. When I joined about a year ago, I just fully committed myself to this. So this is basically, I do little things here and there, but this is my purpose in life, and I freaking love it. And I love you all. Actually, before I jump off, let me also show you the new Pure Blood stuff. We got one for Joel because he deserves a shirt, Shadowban God. We got the Matrix collection, and this one is going to be, this is me wearing it, this is going to be for a new challenge coming out soon. So it's called Where's the Tapes? Obviously, you guys understand what that means. We want to know where the hell the tapes are. We want to see the tapes. We want to have the tapes. That's what's going on. So I'm going to jump off. Love you all. I have a live stream tomorrow as well. I'll keep you updated. I also have a live stream on Friday and one on Saturday. Probably. That's going to be massive. Remember the post I made about the LGBTQ? I have an LGBTQ person that's going to join me, so that's going to be dope. Love you all. Have a good night, and kick ass.